Welcome back, everybody. It's race day. It's race day here in the United Kingdom sim racing. This is the MX series, and we are here in the lovely Nurburgring in Germany for our round 11 of our series, presented by JamesParfittBroadcasting Network. I am Dean Biggles, and joining me into the booth this evening will be Mr. Dan. And how are you doing this evening, Dan?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dean. Well, I'm amazing. Once again, some MX5 racing inbound for us. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We're going to go through those standings, of course, of all the action that's happened last week. First of all, we shall shoot over to the schedule of where we are currently at the moment. As you said, this is the penultimate round, my friend. So, as you can see, round 11 in Nuremberg, and of course heading to the classic national classical track, of course, there of the birthplace of Formula One in Silverstone, or round 12 to battle it all out. So this standings that we're going to go through in a minute, my friend, that's going to be the key.
What a place to round it off, eh?
Yeah, as to how it's going to pan out as we go back, and we'll pull up those championship standings for both of those classes as well to go over for everybody while they're just in the little remaining 10 minutes of the practice session. So first of all, I don't know if we go over the overall there, if you would, we would like to have a look at that one. I am also the producer here this evening. James is on a holiday, last minute little holiday he had to go to, so he's usually the producer this evening, so I'm trying to do my best to take over from the legend himself. But there are your championship standings, if you'd like to go over that one there, Dan.
Well, we have Pete van Gool in the lead. He could round off the championship this evening, which will be very difficult. He will need a gap of more than 400 points in order to do that. Pete Newman is following him closely. Charles Kellyman in third. Steve Heffert in fourth. Elise Main in fifth. Craig Jones in sixth. Seventh, Rolf Cullinan. Eighth, Jamie Ayres. Ninth, Roger Morton. Carl Jacqueline in 10th. Andy Maxwell in 11th. 12th, Craig Crawford. 13th, Alan Toon. Sir Alan Toon, I have to say. 14th, Martin Sampson. 15th, Daryl Wright. 16th, Andy Littler. 17th, Steve Hansford. And 18th, Dale Bennison.
Yeah, exactly. And Mr. Pete Van Gool is out in the chat. G'day to you, as well as everybody else that's listening. You can pop in and say hi if you like. Pete was just asking me before if Steve will be watching us tonight. He's referring to Steve Heffert, I believe. If that's the case, that might not be here this evening. Some of the drivers may not be missing or not. You've got some of that information, I believe, as well. But over to the pro standings, because we have the pro and the AM, and that's the Pete's, of course, leading that. If you'd like to go through those pro standings for us.
Pete van Gool leading in the pro standings as well. Pete Newman following him, like I said, closely behind. Charles Kellyman in third. Fourth is Steve Heffert. Elise Main in fifth. Rolf Cullinan in sixth. Jamie Ayres in seventh. A lot of the top guns, of course, in the championship we just showed you are pros. Carl Jacqueline in 8th, 9th, Andy Maxwell 10th, Martin Sampson, Daniel Hunt 11th, 12th, Will Carrington 13th, Roy Verveek 14th, Darren McLean 15th, Cesare Rizzo, did my best, 16th, yeah. Carl Hardy.
Excellent. And of course the AM series that we'll go over to as well, to who's leading that one, which I think it was just a bit of a runaway there for Craig Jones at the moment. Not yet, sorry, my apologies, Roger Boyle.
Not yet.
And also out there, please let us know if the audio levels are all okay. But yeah, if you go through those AM for us, please. Dennis.
Craig Jones in first. He also could wrap up the AM championship. The thing is, he as well needs a gap of 400 points. And with the points being given, of course, with how they finish in the race, 100 points for the winner and then counting down until I think position 30 or something. Second is Roger Morton. To open up that gap, which is currently 250 points, a little bit less or more. My maths are not that great. It's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible for Craig Jones. So that's one to look out for as well. Craig Crawford in third, Sir Alan Toon in fourth, Daryl Wright in fifth, sixth Andy Littler, seventh Steve Hansford, eighth Dale Bennison, and ninth Mick Barry.
Barry, yeah. If you'd like to call him, in Australia we'd call him Bazza as a nickname. But so there it is, and we do have about 18 or so drivers loaded in for the practice session, of course, which is about 6 minutes remaining. So I think we'll go down the track and we'll go through and have a look at the drivers and have a look at the liveries and all that sort of jazz, so you get used to it before they start, because of course there's teams as well in this championship. I don't know if I do have the actual constructors. This is the overall championship standings, but I don't think I have the constructors, so I apologize about that. We'll obviously have that all worked out for the final race.
Well, what's the championship you showed me in the beginning then, if this is the overall?
This is just an overall. This is an overall. I have an overall, and there's a class. Well, that's the overall, and then there's the overall showing with the classes together.
Okay.
That's just to split it up so it looks better. There you go. I didn't realize I had that one too. I've got these little buttons up here in the booth.
Well,
it's fun.
Biggles, how was your flight to Germany?
Quite good. I had the beef this time around. They didn't have any kangaroo.
Not a fan of it, but to be honest.
But I might have to boost my microphone just a little bit as well, because I'm not usually broadcasting this, just to make sure. I haven't heard anything out there in the chat. I'm watching. Danielle says to let us know if the levels are okay, please, if you can, to make sure that we're good. Otherwise, you might not sound great later on. We'll have it sound great. Let's go live to the track for that practice session, so we can have a look at everything that's going on, getting an idea of the pace that they currently are setting around the track too for the practice session, because it looks like Pete Newman at the moment has got the quickest time.
Well, do we have the schedule for this evening? Because I do have it for you. We had a big practice session. Of course, we know that with all the races, we have a 3-hour practice session before every race. Then we have a 15-minute qualifying, a 50-minute race 1, then a 50-minute race 2 with a reverse top 16 from the results from race 1. And race 3 is the amount of laps that is done in race 1, and of course race 2, because they're both 15 minutes. With a reverse top 12, race 4 is exactly the same, but with a reverse top 13 from race 3. So a lot to look forward to. Between those races we will be going for a short break, because we will need to change sessions, so stick with us then. But yeah, we first have qualifying and race 1 and 2 coming up for you.
That sounds quite good.
Yeah, it does.
So put it this way, lots of action.
Yeah. Biggles, you were here in the last race.
Yes, sir.
And the thing that I remember from that is that it was quite eventful around 130R. Of course, we were at Suzuka, the short track, so not the full track. So we had 130R in there, and it was quite eventful around that corner, I have to say. It was a cracker of a race. We expect to see more of a cracker of a race. You had those. I'm just trying to remember back that, because it was so much that's occurred. And of course, I've been flying all over around the world since then. Oh, yeah.
So
you've been doing quite a lot.
I'm
You're
always flying
with
and casting somewhere exactly. I had to fly back over to Long Beach tonight for a IndyCar race later on. That's tonight my time, because I'm in the afternoon currently. Well, actually, we're in the afternoon here in Germany. So yeah, mate. Freaking fly miles. Got them clicked up. Don't you worry about that. These are the drivers that have to be clicking up those points. That's the crucial part, because once again, this is crunch time, penultimate race. Got to get as many. You can see the teams currently at the moment for the optical green team. We have the optical red, we have the optical green, and we have the what's the other optical? Yeah, optical green, optical red. I think there's an optical. I thought there was an optical blue. My mistake. Yeah. But crucially, who is here and who is not for this championship? That's probably the most important. We do have both the Craig. We have Craig here. Yeah, who's leading that one. Then Roger. They're the two that are going to be tooth and nail battling it out for the AMs.
Oh, and they're already battling, and they're still in practice. Look at this then.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be doing this. I saw that we saw a bit of the battles going on last week for the practice session during as well. So this is it. This is a little bit of a taste of what's to come tonight probably very soon as well too, because obviously we go into our qualifying session. We only have about a minute and change remaining. I can pull that timer up for everybody as well.
I do not think that they're gonna be leaving each other that much room in the race.
No, absolutely not. Any predictions out there, everybody, for who do you think will be your winners tonight for both of the pros and the AMs?
Well, you're trying to make the other people make predictions, but you as well, Biggles, have to make a prediction yourself as well then. You cannot sit on the fence when you ask other people to make predictions.
I sit on the fence. Talk to James about that. He doesn't like it when I sit on the fence all the time, but I do.
You are gonna sit on the fence, really?
Yep. Give me. How about I tell you on in the final race on the final lap? How about that? That'd be a problem.
Well, yes, because you then commentator curse someone at the end of it and not before it has already begun.
It's my job. We are allowed out there. We are allowed 3 commentator curses between us commentators, the 2 of us this evening. Yeah. And we're allowed to use it. Yeah. What
the people actually do not know is the fact that in iRacing you can also get an X for a commentator's curse. So if you get cursed by a commentator, you actually get a -5X.
Oh, that's true. Damn, I didn't know that. Well, that's between us. So you get one, we get one each, and then we can share the other one, the third one. We can't use it with 10 minutes to go on the race. That is the rule of thumb. Anyway, that's the practice session over, which means we get ready for the all-important, very important qualifying session right now to see where these cars are going to be placing themselves, because we're going to have reverse grids and all that sort of jazz, as you know, later on.
The closer we get to the end of the season, the more this qualifying session is going to count. And as you know, this is the second to last weekend of the season. This one needs to count.
Did you see how quickly they all came out of the gate there too?
Oh yeah.
Very quickly.
Newman, I think, ahead of Pete Van Gool. You can recognize Pete Van Gool with the white letters on the side of that Momo liveried MX5. Behind that, I think it's Jamie Ayres with the black.
Yes, the black rims. Exactly.
Yes.
You're right. That's how you, and also the fists on the 39 car. You can see fist pumping on the just near the bumpers at the front. There's also the other Momo car. Unfortunately, isn't here. That's the other teammate. He's on holidays as well and can't make it. He might make it for the last race, I believe, but if he's out there, give us a shout out. Is it Daniel? I think that's Daniel that's watching.
Well, we know.
Steve watching, one of them. Sorry, guys.
We know, Biggles, that this Momo team, we've seen it time and time again in this championship, that this Momo team is one of the best teams as it comes to working together. We've seen it time and time again. And I think we're going to see another masterclass this evening again.
And Elise, we got Elise Main. She's been Mr. Consistent, Miss Consistent, I'd say for sure. Really getting, really always in their performance. You know, cool, calm, and collective, like Iceman, Kimmy, Ice Woman, Elise. She hunts the predator down, the prey, and then just goes snap and gets the job done. But doesn't take massive, like crazy risks. So we'll see how she's going to pan out tonight. Lots of other drivers to look out for, of course. Roger Morton, as we know, that's in the series pace. Battles it out too with the top. With the pros, even though they're in the AM, both of them could play a difference here. You mentioned Jamie before. We got Steve Ansfield to look at in the optical green. I'm just shooting through a couple of cars there for everybody to have a look at. Pete Newman, we know he's very, very quick at the moment. He's the one that's going out of the gate first, and it's probably going to be the first indication of what the times will be here this evening, as they're going to start some flying laps right now. Would you like to go on board? I'll go on board with Pete. You can give us a guide around Nurburgring.
Oh, yes.
All right, we'll do it from
Pete Newman at turn 1 already. Then we have a long left-hander coming up. This one is not flat in the MX5. In most cars it isn't, because it does end up being quite sharp on the exit. Then we go into turn 4, I think this is. Another left-hander, turn 5. This right-hander really important, because you have a little bit of a straight coming up after this. Watch it on the exit. Very easy to get that off track there. If you go with 4 wheels over the white line, that is yourself with a 1X. Then to the left for turn 7. This one really easy to go out wide, but you need to compromise a little bit for turn 8, the right-hander. And finally down to a little bit of a straight once again, a little bit of a rest. And then we have a long hairpin coming up in the form of turn 9. And then into turn 9. And it goes on for oh so long on the exit. Watch out, don't go out wide because there's gravel. And then in the also famous Schumacher race where Hamilton won shot straight. And we all know that that is not what you want because it can be quite a hard hit. Quite a lot of speed carried through there. Then to the left. Normally this one is a second gear corner. Yes, as we see, Pete Newman takes it in second. Then we keep it in second for the right-hander, leading onto a long straight. A very important exit here because you do want to get that exit speed up. Because you have this long straight. I do think that Pete van Gool behind this is sniffing from that toe a little bit from Pete Newman. Don't know what the gap is, but we come now to the chicane then. Breaking around the 100-meter board into second. We keep it in second on the exit. Then don't watch out wide here once again. On the entry to the last corner, we do have a little bit of curb to use. We use all the track available to us. And once again, we use all the track on exit. And that's a lap around the Nurburgring Grand Prix tracker.
And the time will be when it comes in there, right on 2:19.58, immediately beaten by Pete van Gool, 2:19.03.
Like I
Sets
said,
the benchmark. Mm-hmm.
I think, Biggles, that is the slipstream that he had advantage of on the straights.
Yep. That'll make a difference. Whether they'll swap it around to teammates and work together, because that's what the teammates did at Pete van Gool and Jamie and the Momo team. At the moment with the P1 and P2 provisionally, of course, because only one lap everybody's starting to set. Keeping an eye on Craig Jones right now to see what he's going to do on a 29 car. As he crosses the line, he'll go up into P11 for the AMs. I think so far everybody's looking pretty good for setting a time. Just a couple of off tracks, I think, for the drivers. But yeah, that's serious. With 16 drivers immediately getting a time on the board, a banker lap in. That's good to see. That's absolutely good to see because you can understand we've already lost at least 5 minutes of our qualifying session already just to put in one lap. So you're only going to be at best looking at about 2 to possibly 3 laps max. And that's now when you're going to start pushing, aren't you? Pushing a little bit further there. Maybe do an off track, which will invalidate your lap, but at least it'll try to get you quicker and quicker.
Last week we had 11 laps in 15 minutes. As it stands at the moment, I think we will do around 8 laps for 15 minutes. Maybe 7. It depends on the pace they have, but it's going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. That's why they came out immediately, because it's a long circuit.
Yeah.
I think just, because, once again, you want to push. If you go off track, and like Roger's going off track here, let's have a look real quick there to replay. Of Roger, I think, going off track. Here we go. See? Well, that's a spin from Roger. So that means that there goes your lap. There goes your flying lap. So you got to get it done all over again. Now Roger's back into P9. Remember, he's crucially battling it out with him and Craig Jones, who's currently 11th provisionally for pole. So that's where he's got to be. Can't afford to make too many of those mistakes right now. You want to be as high as you possibly can for your qualifying when you're battling out that AM championship. Jamie goes pole at the moment and beats his teammate of Pete van Gool. And the other, Pete Newman, the Pure Speed Esports, is currently in 3rd. Elise goes up into P6 with a good time. Carl, the Optical Red, is in the P4. Sorry, go ahead.
Elise Main, like you said, is quite a consistent performer. Or she is quite a consistent performer. And that is the reason, I think, because she has had some off races where she was quite far to the back, but the consistent performance that she's put in has made her someone to look out for maybe a top 3 in the championship.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. That's why she's misconsistent now. Let's have a look at Mr. Sir Alan Toon. see if he's going to improve his lap. That time should have already come in there. It's looking like it's P16 currently at the moment. Pete Newman, Pete Van Gool back out there. Jamie Ayres might be improving, so we'll keep an eye on Jamie here. That's the thing. Jamie's getting the tow here. Right behind Pete, who's getting the tow, of course, from the other Pete Newman. So this is going to be interesting if that tow's going to work. You can see Jamie a improvement on his first and second sector. A little bit down on the third, but we'll see. He's provisionally in pole at the moment anyway, with the fast Sector 1, Sector 2 time, and that's the only 2 sector times. This time around, he's improved on his personal best on that.
A little bit wide. That's still going to help him. We've seen, now that we're looking with Jamie Ayres, I think that at the start, if Jamie is able to, he's going to let Pete Van Gool by, maybe. And, yeah... This is a maybe. This is a maybe. If you're the ultimate team player, you let Pete Van Gool by and you try and hold up Pete Newman.
Yeah. Oh, Pete's got in the pit lane, so now they're free on the track. But is he falling too far out of the slipstream? Would be interesting. Let's have a look. So Pete Ayres does not improve. Pete Van Gool does a little bit, believe it or not. 81 thousandths of a second from his teammate, and that was with him getting that good tow. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Carl Jackler behind that, I think, improved as well. Elise Main up at the P4, and Ralph Cullen up into P5 as well.
That's the result clothing iRacing team of Ralph. We're watching right now, the 32 car. And there's a bit of traffic
Green
around
all
them.
Across the board.
Sorry?
Green all across the board at the moment on my timing screen.
Yeah.
Greg Jones, though, looking to improve as well. He currently is in P3 in the AM class. And he might be looking to jump up a couple of positions.
Crosses the line. Oh, yeah.
He does. Up into pole position in the AM class.
Absolutely. So Alan Toon doesn't improve. You can see the yellows there for most of the other drivers out on track. Let's have a look at Andy. We haven't really got too much camera time for Andy. Currently in P8, looking to improve on his time. Interesting, we have another Andy. Littler, work guard by result, has yet set a time, as well as Mick Barry yet to set a time. They are not on the scoreboard, but I don't think they're even out on track, so we'll see what's happened down in their garage. But Andy Maxwell's improved a little bit, as you can see, in the middle second sector.
Well, what I like about the fact that we were on board through the hairpin is that you can see the different lines that people take through there, because you can take a variety of lines. And of course, the most common line used through there is to kind of square it off, make it as tight as possible to get the car as straight as possible, or keep the car as straight as possible for the longest time, because you can brake the latest and you can also get on throttle as early as possible. So you make the corner tighter than it is because it's a hairpin that goes on for quite long, Biggles.
What you do is that it goes back to that classic reference that Martin Brundle used to say, and I've copied it from Martin Brundle now with my casting, is that you hug that corner like you're hugging your favorite grandma. That's what you need to be doing, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to comment on that. Well, it kind of is true if you look at it with some proper glasses on, because Andy Maxwell did not improve across the line. As we see now, he's tied on time with Daniel Hunt in P7, so they both have the same time, I think. It's just the fact that Daniel Hunt has put it in a little bit earlier than Andy Maxwell.
Were they exactly the same time?
Yeah, 0.000.
0.000, but how many zeros do you go in? It can't be infinitely zero. I think they're off a little bit.
Infinitely zero.
We're going to get into a science podcast in a little bit. We'll get going. Hello, everybody in the chat. Don't be too quiet. You do have the space talk here this evening with myself, Dean Biggles, and Daan. Pepels. How do I pronounce your surname? Pepels?
Pepels.
Pepels, okay. That's how you're having it. So I guarantee you're going to have two casters this evening that start with D.
Yeah.
So.
Agree.
Yeah. One with a misspelt Dan. So they've added an extra A in your name. So yeah, Misspelled it. Of course, that's what it is. Dutch, aren't you? You are Dutch, so that's how you do Dan and Dutch. You add 2 A's. Whether in English, you add just the one. 1 minute. Speaking of one, says 1 minute and 38 seconds left to qualifying. I don't think there's anybody else really improving because perhaps those tyres. Maybe Pete. Let's have a look at Pete Newman.
Well, you say Pete, but you have to say, indeed, which Pete it is, because I was looking at Pete.
Yeah.
I saw
that's right. There is
a
2
purple
Petes.
sector
I keep forgetting about that.
Pete Newman does aboard his lap, and we see Pete Van Gool go through
So
behind Jamie Ayres. So it doesn't look like Pete Van Gool at the moment is improving. He did have a purple last sector time, last lap around, but he is going to give it one more shot, because everyone who starts this lap now, that will be their final lap.
with a toe too. I was just about to get one of my cleaning cloths off and clean. Oh, his teammate went a little bit. They both did actually. He's just messing around right now. They're both messing around. But see, there's a little marker on the windscreen there. I was actually thought that was on my screen. I was about to get a wipe out there and clean. I was like, damn it, I thought I cleaned my screen before, but it's just on his windscreen. You can't use the windscreen wipers, I believe, can you?
I think you can, because it is in iRacing for the rally cars.
Yeah.
At least that's what I believe. So there is a button for it to activate them. But I've had it in the 24 hours of Spa that I did, that the car just does it automatically to clean the windscreen.
Oh, it does do it. Yeah, I know, because I know that I've casted a couple of 24-hour spas, and yeah, I think I've casted you racing as well. But yeah, I've seen that. That was the question we were asking. No, really any out there. Michael, thank you very much. I was about to say I'm relying on you guys out there in the chat. Michael David said I don't think so in this car. That's it. But what I can tell you at the moment is that is it, and the qualifying's over. So we can have a look at the overall qualifying results. We'll put it in the class, and let's have a look at that on the grid. Right there. If you'd like to go through that for us, please.
Starting with the pro class, actually, we don't have to put it in class because everyone is in their respective positions. Jamie Ayres takes pole position, Pete Van Gool in second, Pete Newman in third, fourth is Elise Main. Good qualifying for her. Ralph Cullinan in fifth, sixth is Carl Jacquelet, seventh Daniel Hunt, eighth Andy Maxwell, ninth Charles Kellyman, 10th and in pole position 40 amps is Greg Jones, Darrell Wright in 11th, 12th is Roger Morton, 13th Biggles.
Yes, I got to scroll it, of course. I have one job.
You had one job.
I think it did scroll, did it? But not scroll. It should have scrolled.
Okay, well, I can tell it like this. Greg Crawford takes 13th, 14th, Dale Bennison, Steve Hansford in 15th, 16th, Sir Alan Toon, 17th, Andy Littler, and 18th, Mick Barry. There we go.
I got it. There's buttons, multiple buttons. I don't usually broadcast this, so gotta bear with me. We got it. We'll get it done.
Biggles, you do 50 broadcasts a week.
I do.
And you still can't scroll.
Every commentating booth that I go to around the world for the different leagues have their own different buttons in different places. Exactly. So let's get used to that. It's all right, but we get there. We get there. We all help each other.
We're waiting for Andy Littler right now.
Yeah. We are.
Is Andy still here, or is he eating?
Well, here's Jamie on pole. So there you go. I love this little pole. Have a look at a good look at Jamie's car. My mate Italy.
I love the helmet. I love the helmet, I have to say. It's not like the standard iRacing helmet you normally see.
Well, you customize it. There's a lot of funny helmets that I've been seeing over time. Like Kermit the Frog helmet. Anyhow, we're going. Yep.
5 red lights are going to come on your screen in a second. There we have him. They're on. It's lights out and away we go for race 1. And Jamie Ayres gets off to a good start. Pete Van Gool off to a good start as well. But Pete Newman behind that, looking to pounce very early on this race. Is Jamie Ayres going to let Pete Van Gool by is the question. The answer is, at the moment, he does not. Pete Newman is trying to get up the inside of Pete Van Gool. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? At the moment, Biggles, they're all clean through turn 1.
Yeah, at the moment, clean through. So it actually might be a little bit of a crash further back, but we'll keep an eye on this for now. A lot of gainers, actually. Just at least Main actually dropped a couple of places, but she's starting to gain it back. She's dropped 2. Maybe in the hunt to drop another one. Let's have a look. That's Daniel Hunt, actually, in the hunt. Sorry, there was no reference to that. That was actually Daniel Hunt hunting her down. But you're right, so far so good. 1 lap of 25, of course, for this first event. They have behaved, but I believe we do have a crash earlier on. So let's have a look what happened here back in Steve. This is Craig, actually. Yeah.
Oh, no. This could be a calamity for the championship.
It could. Look, he's gone through on the inside, very deep in the last late breakers, and that's going to be a collision there. That was a 60-something car. 65.
If that is everything,
yeah,
he might have gotten away with it.
Steve Hansford as well. Let's have a look what's happened here in the optical green. I think this is just because of that incident. Who was that last of late breakers? Was that Mr. Allen? No, Craig? I can't see who it was. Anyway, we'll go back to the live entertainment. Back up to the front. Is that Pete in the lead? Look at this.
Pete Newman in the lead. We come back to the live action. It's Pete Newman and Jamie Ayres side by side for the lead. Pete Van Gool is going to try and get up the inside. This is also close. Chicane is coming up for you now. Down the inside, maybe Pete Newman on Jamie Ayres. Oh, look at them. Almost 3 wide going into the chicane. Pete Van Gool trying to be cheeky on the outside of Pete Newman. Biggles, this is absolutely amazing.
That's because it's crunch time in this championship, remember. You can't afford to make any really silly mistakes at this point around. Daniel and Ralph battling it out a little bit further back. But the usual suspects are up there. The Jamie, the Petes. Ralphie is in the play there. Eloise, sorry, just dropped back a couple of places. Eloise Main, actually. And you got Carl there further there. That's Carl Jacqueline. Their teammates as well, all working together in those optical cars. There's all 4 optical cars from P6 all the way down P9. You'd expect them to try to work together. Also, make sure they communicate together, not to take each other out. That's the first rule of any motor racing. Do not take your teammates out.
We did see that at Suzuka last week, I think. So we do not want the repeat of that. But at the moment, it's Pete Newman pressurizing Jamie Ayres. So Pete Van Gool can't seem to really put pressure on Pete Newman.
Not yet. But further back, Ralph and his teammate. So is this a communication there? The Irishman and Daniel. He's got Daniel to his left-hand side. Are they teammates? They're not actually. That's DOF Reality Sport, and that's Result Clothing iRacing. And Ralph had a fantastic race last week too for the Irishman. So see if we can keep up that this evening, tonight in the penultimate round. But they are definitely battling out too for now. Up the road there's still Pete in between, the Pure Sims Esports in between the Momo team. Believe it or not, even though they're not the same team, I believe they do hang out in the same race chat, whilst they're racing.
Yeah. Well, if you do have the same sponsor, I say you're in the same team for me, because you always have that relationship when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
If you get what I mean, like you have AlphaTauri and you have Red Bull, and AlphaTauri will always move aside for the quicker Red Bull car if it needs to, although it's not the same team.
Unless you're Sebastian Vettel and you don't follow any multi-21 orders.
That is true, but that was on his own teammate.
Yeah. Well then, but hey, what about when he crashed up the back of Mark Webber's Red Bull and destroyed his race and he was leading it? And
hold on a second.
Yeah. Oh, it's a little bit lots of late breakers, isn't that? Oh, was that Ralph? No, that was
Jamie Ayres, I think it was.
Daniel?
I don't know, but pushing each other almost on the straight there behind that was, I think, Carl Jacqueline and Elise Main. Side by side, I think, coming out of the last corner, Elise Main trying to gain the position here on Carl Jacqueline. I think into turn 1, this is going to be position done if Elise Main is faster. She has the inside. Also looking up the inside is Pete Newman. Oh,
this is
Pete Newman is dropping.
Oh, they have crashed.
No.
Yeah, there they are. We'll have a look at that.
No.
We'll have a look at that in a second, of course. We'll continue back with the racing. But, yeah, let me get right camera angle. Everything's going all pearl-shaped right now. But let's go back to that crash there between Pete and Newman. What's happened here? So this is
like I said,
crucial.
I saw Pete Newman going for it.
Yeah.
And into turn 1, he might have braked a little bit too late. Look at Pete Van Gool.
He has. There it is. So they're tagged.
Does he get cut off? Yes, he does.
And then he gets stuck.
Oh!
Does anybody else hit him? No, they've all got around, thankfully.
That's unfortunate.
He's had to back up, which is pretty much a bit of a scary. No. Did they sneak through that? They did. Yeah, you're not allowed to reverse on the track, but somehow got through that. Ralph is also crashed, I think. This might have been all because of what happened up the road. They're counting this as a clash, but unbelievable. Was it? Yes, it was. So Ralphie did get through. So they are so lucky, aren't they? Look at that. Actually, that was cut. Ralphie did scrape him. I think he might have lost a mirror. But they're back at it further back. What happened here? This is also another incident between Craig Crawford.
Oh, no. Both championship leaders then almost.
And Steve. Is that Steve? And that's just... Oh, no, that's... But they're the ones that tried to sneak through. Yeah. That is so close. Unbelievable.
That was great awareness from Craig Crawford, I have to say. The moment he braked, he saw we're not going to get through this side by side. Because if they both kept it flat, that would be an instant collision. There was no option or no way from them getting through there. But that means that now Pete Van Gool is in the lead. Daniel Hunt is trying to take that away from him. And you can now see almost going side by side into chicane. You can now see how effective that slipstream is. Daniel Hunt going to try and take first position from Pete Van Gool. They keep it side by side through the chicane. The exit will be for Daniel Hunt with the wider line. Into the last corner. Daniel Hunt ahead. Eking out a little bit. But Pete Van Gool with the inside line, I think, will slot into P1 once again. The switchback, beautiful there from Daniel Hunt. And into T1, he might now have the inside line, Biggles.
We're about to find out, aren't we? Again, they're going to continue at it. And Pete Van Gool. Daniel Hunt, of course, is going to be saying, hey, this is my opportunity to win this race. He was all the way back in P6, I think it was. Now up into P2, looking for that P1. He wants that. And he could get this one because of the incident that happened before with Peter
side by side.
Continue. That's right. Look at this. You can see 5 positions gained. It's like 4 of 25, so plenty of racing to go, but good motor racing is what we're seeing.
Look how close this is. It is almost rear bumper to front bumper and almost pushing each other through the corner, but this fighting has allowed Ralph Cullinan behind it to slot in behind Daniel Hunt once again. And this will give him a chance to maybe go down the inside. This is not really a corner to do it. So he does wait patiently. Daniel Hunt tries to get the better exit on Pete Van Gool. The hairpin that is coming up is quite a popular place to try it. Around the outside or down the inside. It's going to try and hang around the outside. Pete Van Gool will need to give him the room. He will break later. Once again, the exit. Oh, parks it on the apex. Some beautiful defending from Pete Van Gool. And nothing that Daniel Hunt can do about that.
Well, try is the key. I'm trying to find the right, trying to find the right camera angle, of course, so we can see. There it is, from behind. Trying to get it back. Oh, this is a really bad camera angle. My apologies. I'm going to bother with that one. I'm going to go back to the regular. I thought I had a good camera angle for it, so you can look over the rear wing, but it doesn't have a rear wing. Of course, these MXs. They just have a lot of noise and a lot of power and a lot of fun.
Did you just think that this car has a rear wing?
No, it doesn't. There's no Red Bulls here, mate. No Red Bulls on the grid.
6 minutes left in this race. And it's still all up for grabs for...
Well, is it minute race or lap race?
Yes, it is a minute race.
It's a minute race.
You always have to give in a certain amount of laps.
Yep. So
that is why there's 25 laps.
All right, I should be timing that one correctly too with all my buttons that are up here.
If you would have paid attention, Biggles, I would have given you the schedule for this evening at the beginning of the broadcast.
I slept on the flight over. My apologies about that one. It's a long flight, okay, from across the pond. But look at this, weaving at the moment, trying to break the slipstream. You're right, there's 5 minutes left of this race.
Ralph Cullinan, can he do anything about it? Looks like Elise Main, once again, the consistent performer that she has been, up into P4 ahead of her teammate Carl Jacqueline. Can she maybe gain one more position to try and get up in that podium spot? What do you think, Biggles?
She's already done a fantastic job. She dropped a couple places back and had to earn this. And I guess, obviously, earning it was because we all saw that incident that happened before between our race leaders. So that's just a gain for everybody else. And now she's back up at that P4. But, of course, she wants to gain like everybody else around her in the top 10. They've all gained places. Pete, of course, dropping 8. And Mr. Jamie Ayres down in P15.
Which Pete?
Pete Newman,
Pete
sorry.
Newman.
Yeah,
okay.
The one that you could see on the left that he's dropped. Actually, we have an accident. Steve and maybe Sir Alan, they've come together here. I presume it's Sir Alan behind here. There's Steve Hansford in 57 car. You can see it side by side. Definitely is that last late breakers. Oh, no.
Oh, that's too
They've
late.
both gone too deep and come back onto the track. And who is that next to him? That's got to be Jamie, isn't it? I'd
yeah,
say.
Jamie Ayres.
As they come together with Jamie, perhaps. Let's have a look. Jamie's going to be eager to get around him. He's gone off track to do it. And it's still going on, I guess.
What has happened here?
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Just
is this
wide. This is dangerous. There it
Oh,
is. I
that's
was
it.
about to say the different exit speed you could see. And anyway, that is what it is, and it's going to allow Mick to go through. Anyway, we'll go back to live action. Trust me, because there's action everywhere on this track.
Sir Alan too did well to keep that car going in a straight line.
Let's see about Daniel there. He's unfortunately had to yield that position to Pete. Well, he doesn't want to yield it, but Pete's got the position. But he's got 3 minutes and change to see if he can do something about coming back on that one, using that slipstream to his advantage, and send send the championship leader back to driving school 101 here in Nurburgring. Ooh, that's what.
Well, finishing second. I don't think you need to go back to driving school 101 with the talent that these drivers have. It is respectable to finish in P1. Because let me tell you, if I would take part, I would be the last of the AM class, I think. That is how competitive this field is.
I would be in the medical car. In the back of the medical car, not driving it, but in the back of it, because I would have already put that thing in the fence in the first corner. That's
Screaming
why,
like a baby, you're going too quick.
That's why I'd be hanging upside down like a cow, like Nico Hulkenberg here. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm up in the casting box, my friend. If the air conditioner all safe. Well, no, you should strap me in a seatbelt, but because I get hyperactive and start jumping around in the casting box to these racing.
Oh, let me tell you, with the close calls and the close racing that we have in this in the UK SimRacers League, man, jumping from left to right, from the back to the front of the commentary booth is not something that is
Craig Jones.
weird.
Sorry, Craig Jones. Now, Craig Jones, this is very important for this AM championship. Now, he does have Darrell Wright behind him, but that's not he's really more worried about. It's Roger Morton that's a little bit further back. They're the two that are battling it out, aren't they, in the championship? And if Craig Jones can find a way past Charles Kellyman, that's up the road, that's one more place, at least, or two more places away from his main rival. So that's something they're going to be looking at. But go further back up to Daniel. He could be ready to make a run here. He's swerving all around here. He's going to try to send it up the inside. No, he can't. He couldn't get the braking. You can see the car sliding tooth and nail. 1 minute and change to go in the dying stages of our first heat race.
Coming onto the long straight once again. It is the chicane coming up, so a good overtaking opportunity coming up for Daniel Hunt. Might be one of his last opportunities if he remembers this one. Oh, the inside is going to be the one. Breaking right around here. They're side by side going into the chicane. Who's going to keep it? Oh, there's room for Pete van Gool on the inside. Pete van Gool still alongside Daniel Hunt. Can he keep it there? Side by side, they go into the last corner. The inside is favored. There we see Pete van Gool coming through once again. But the exit now is for Daniel Hunt, and I think he is going to eke out just a little bit, and he's going to slot into P1.
Brilliant racing, but you know, he got the slipstream now. Ralph, where's Pete's drop back to P3, but Pete's going to be 3 by 3 here. This is probably the penultimate lap now, I'd have to say, almost close. There's 3 wide into the corner. This is very clever, I'd have to say, for Pete to lift off, because he probably realized, look, if I commit to that, it could be game over for all three of us. That's probably clever, knowing he's got the championship here to defend. He can't afford to be throwing points away tooth and nail right now.
Well, his championship rival is down in 8th, and finishing P3 is still a respectable position when your championship rival is down on P9 at the moment. So, yeah, very smart there from Pete van Gool, but he loses 2 positions in the span of 2 corners. Not what he was looking for, I think.
I know, but one again, I keep saying, think about the championship overall, because consistency is key. You got a bigger picture here. You got that drivers' championship trophy you want on your shelf.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
As they always say. He might be looking up the inside of the hairpin here. Not quite close enough to do something. He is going to square up it as much as possible, but gets... Of course, what he did himself is now being the same. Parking it on the apex. No way for him to take that tighter line.
Yep.
Third, the Schumacher S now is definitely very, very close. And I think if he wants, he can get P2 back here. And it is Rolf Cullinan defending the inside.
He's the Flying Dutchman right now, isn't he? I know you're going to be supporting your fellow countryman as the Dutch Army, getting your orange out there and trying to wave him by, but only way you can avoid. Yeah. But he's got, obviously, Mr. Daniel Hunt up the road there and Ralph. And I'll tell you what, Daniel's not going to want to yield this one. He's saying, look, if I'm getting 6th places to win this race, I'm going to try everything. But here we go, Pete.
Side by side into the chicane once again. And up the inside of Daniel Hunt comes Ralph Cullinan.
Oh, he's going to get this. He could sneak. He's stuck behind him. And guess who's going to go
Elise May goes up into P1. Elise May up into P1. Pete Van Gool to P3. Daniel Hunt in P2 now. Elise May needs to go around one more corner to win this one. Daniel Hunt gets close once again. Can Elise May get it across the line? It's going to be a sprint to the line. Elise May gets the victory ahead of Daniel Hunt. And Pete Van Gool finishes P3.
Wow.
Wow, Biggles. What an end to already a very exciting race.
Look at Elise. Got the biggest smile on her face you could possibly imagine, going, how did I just get this race win in the final couple of corners? Being in the right place at the right time. Elise, let's go back and have a look at what happened with that one on the last dying
Morton,
laps.
I think, also lost his place to Darrell Wright in the lead for the AM.
Yeah, was it? I'm trying to look at that, what all happened here on the last dying stages here.
This is Jamie Ayres we're looking at now.
Yeah, trying to have a look at here. Here it is. Isn't it? Around here? This is Ralph. Yep. This is where it went all pear-shaped. Look.
Oh. At this point, I thought this is Pete Van Gool his victory. But then, of course, this line, of course, closed because they went to the left. And Elise May came storming through. What a victory for her. Unbelievable.
That's why you just got to hang with them and just hope that something happens, and necessary does. And Elise is
put them under pressure.
Again, absolutely put them under pressure. That's what you like to see.
We have a question in chat from Michael David. Oh no, what happened to Jamie Ayres? I stepped away. Well, let me tell you, Jamie Ayres had it coming together with Pete Van Gool's rival, Pete Newman, at C1.
Right here.
They both spun
Here's
off.
a replay of that. This is way back earlier in the race on lap 3, I think it was.
Pete Van Gool trying to go up the inside. And here it looks like, okay, it's not going to be good. But then as we go to the next, or to the warm-up.
There's your results.
Pete Newman.
That's the quality results. These are the results. Apologies right now. Yep.
Pete Newman got cut off in turn 1 by Jamie Ayres. Spun Jamie Ayres around, and there was no way for Pete Newman to go, so they both dropped down the field. The results for you of the heat race. Race number 1, Elise May won this race. Of course, what a race it has been. Pete Van Gool in second. Pete Van Gool in second? Wait a second here. Where is...
Yeah, it came through that way, I believe.
Really? I thought Pete Van Gool was third.
Apparently it's counted as
that. We'll get on with it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll get on with it. Pete Van Gool in P2. Carl Jacklett in P3. 4th is Ralph Cullinan. 5th, Andy Maxwell. Darrell Wright in P6. 7th, Roger Morton. He lost that lead to Darrell Wright as well.
Yeah.
But his championship rival, down in P15, Craig Crawford. P8, though, Charles Kellyman. P9, Dale Bennison. 10th, Jamie Ayres. 11th, Steve Hensford. 12th, Pete Newman. 13th, Mick Barry. 14th, Sir Alan Toon. 15th, Craig Crawford. 16th, Daniel Hunt. 17th, Craig Jones. And 18th, and not having done a lap, is Andy Littler. Don't know where he is, but he was in the practice session, but he did not participate in qualifying. Neither did he in the race. But
and
man,
still,
I need a second to recover from that.
Yeah, Pete at the moment's giving us a nice wink out there. I think he's obviously very happy with his result. It could have gone anywhere. Anybody could have won that one. At least, obviously, did steal that one away from everybody. He wasn't stealing, of course. You've got to be in the race to win it. She certainly was. And this just helps, obviously, Pete Van Gool with a few more points up his sleeve there for this championship hunt, especially knowing that his main competitor is down the field quite a bit.
No. I have just had a look at the VAR. We've had the VAR sign. I've had a look back at it.
Right.
And Daniel Hunt, who is down in P16,
yes,
finished behind Elise May.
He did. So let's have a look. Maybe something
happened.
Let's have a look at the heat overall, maybe it's not showing us correctly. Let's have a look. No, it's still doing the same thing. So maybe a class set will show us something a little bit. Just going through this once again. No, it's still not the same thing.
Maybe that he had a drive-through.
Oh,
because he had the maximum amount of incident points, and that dropped him right back to P16. Maybe that is what happened, because of course Daniel Hunt was involved in the crash.
I think you're absolutely right.
It was a contact of 4x, an off tracks a 1x, which is already 5x. Maybe before that something happened. I don't know, but that is the only logical explanation I have for it, because Daniel Hunt finished behind the Lee's main, and then it was Pete Van Gool.
Interesting. We could take a little bit of a breather at the moment. We have a little bit of a warm-up. And just to let everybody know, what's the next race in the situation? How does this start out for everybody?
Well, I think, for the moment, if I have my thing written down correctly, because I sometimes don't, it will be a reverse top 16, which will mean that Daniel Hunt, the one who finished P2, on track, will start in pole position, and Greg Crawford alongside him.
Amazing.
But yeah, we will have again a 15-minute race, but a reversed top 16. So that means that Elise Main will have a big job to do. But we've seen it here. She drops back to P6 and she comes through to win.
Yeah.
So just being consistent, sticking with them, is something that she's good at. And when there's someone who makes a mistake or goes off track or crashes with someone else, she's there to pick up the pieces.
That's what it's all about, picking up the pieces when you need to pick up the pieces. So they're going to have a little bit of a warm-up. We'll be back in a few minutes. Just get a breather, get some hydration. But definitely do not go anywhere. we are getting back at the moment. This is obviously the UK Sim Racing League here. Round 11 of the MX5 UK Sim Racers and presented by JPB Broadcasting. This is that was the results, obviously, from the first exciting, cracking race. I am Dean Biggles. Joining me in the casting box is the Daan the man. So get ready, mate, for gridding up for the feature race right now.
Yeah. Where is our starting?
And the gridding is right here.
Andy Littler. I have something I've done wrong here. It is a reverse top 18, it looks like. Andy Littler starts in pole position, then Craig joins behind that in P2. Daniel Hunt in P3, 4th, Craig Crawford, 5th, Sir Alan Toon, 6th, Mick Barry. And then in 7th, we have Pete Newman, 8th, Steve Hansford, 9th, Jamie Ayres, 10th, Dale Bennison, 11th, Charles Kellyman, 12th, Roger Morton. Biggles?
And you want me to scroll through the rest of it? I'm just testing to see if you're paying attention.
13th, Darrell Wright, 14th, Andy Maxwell, 15th, Ralph Cullinan, 16th, Carl Jacquelet, Pete Van Gool in P17, and Elise Main rounds off the grid P18.
Well, Elise's got a lot of work to do, hasn't she? But she could probably do it if anybody could do it.
Well, let me tell you, we will not have a pole starter, I think, because Andy Littler is still, I think, not in the session.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and he's still going to get in here in time as well, too. So we'll go to the grid. That could be a bit of a... Oh, that could be a massive opportunity there for Daniel. But anyway, over to you, mate. Let's go.
Lights are 5. 5 red lights are on there, and we're underway for race 2. Greg Jones here with a good start. Daniel Hunt almost alongside him immediately. He had a jump. Oh, it almost looked like a jump start for Daniel Hunt. That is how good he was from his starting position. Greg Crawford in P3, side by side with Sir Alan Toon. Side by side to turn 1, as of course, for Daniel Hunt and Greg Jones as well. Daniel Hunt will look for a little bit of revenge here from race 2. Of course, he finished it in P2, but got that penalty, which we think was a penalty. And because of that, he dropped down to P16. But Biggles, clean for the moment.
Not really. I think I'm seeing a couple of crashes, actually, at the back. But we'll keep an eye on that in a second. We can go back to that because what has just happened, there's a lot. I'm seeing a message that Andy's crashed. Elise has crashed. Ralph has crashed. As well as Pete and Roger. So we'll keep an eye on where they are. We might have to go back to that in a second because I want to see what happened here. This is Roger. And we know that we got Pete around here. If you go a little bit further back, there's Pete in the Momo car. This is definitely the bumper cars into turn 1, isn't it? As everybody's just tangled side by side. There it is. Bumper, bumper, bumper.
What a hit.
At least Main, of course, was involved in that. But I think they might have all been pushing in the right. There it is. That's all that is. But I think they're all pointing in the right direction still. So just to use your bumper car turn 1. But back to the live action.
Big news, everyone. Andy Littler on track as well now. So we do have the full 18-car grid. As we do now have Pete Newman trying to overtake Greg Jones here. This is big for the championship because, of course, his championship rival Pete Van Gool is down in P12, and he does have that position going into the left-hander. That is P2 for Pete Newman, and he is now going to try and hunt down Daniel Hunt.
Further back as well, here's Pete Van Gool and this little squabble. They're all completely in different places that have exchanged there from the reverse grid.
Look how quick Pete Van Gool is making up these positions, though. P10, he's making it look like it's a Sunday drive for him.
Sunday drive, of course, on our Tuesday evenings. And Darrell Wright as well, further a little bit up the road. Behind that, down the road, sorry, my apologies, look at that. They're still going for it. Further up the road there, we got Mick and Craig. Oh, that's close to the barrier. A little bit too close, scraping a little bit of paint off there, but lives to see another day. That'll actually bring Charles and Carl into play there with the extra speed that they're going to have down the main straight now because of that.
Are they going to make it 3 wide into turn 1 is the question, though. Does look like no one is going to give here. McBarry down at the moment to P7. Oh, can he keep it there? Yes, he can. Oh, so close. 3 wide almost into turn 2 now.
A little bit of contact, a little bit argy-bargy. Now, I can see one of the drivers there was allowing enough space, but look at Roger, is Roger Morton. Now, he knows he's got a lot up for grabs here in the championship as well, too, for that AM class. So he's trying to give it everything he got. And the thing is, at the moment, he's got Craig Jones all the way up at a P3, and he's main contender. So he's got to get the job done quickly and fast. Still got a couple more races to go, but hey, every single point in this championship is counting at this dying stages with the penultimate round. Still at it. They're still at it.
Craig Jones up into P3.
Oh, somebody's going off into the fence. Sorry. Yeah, just coming back off track
Is
there.
that at least main?
Yeah, it could be. No, yeah, it was, I think. Here we go. 3 abreast.
3 abreast into Dunlop. Oh my goodness. It's oh so close between all of them. Look at this. 4 or 5 cars fighting. 4 P6, I think this is.
Go back up to, here we go. So on Craig Jones is Jamie. That's Jamie Ayres, yeah. After not a very good adventure in the first race, is now trying to climb his way back up, of course, because he had an opportunity of starting up the grid there. But he still gained 6 positions so far. Back to this other battle that's occurring still with Mr. Pete, Mr. Charles, Mr. Carl, the optical red, I think, further down there. And there's Roger Moore, and there's Pete, as well as Mick, I think. So we've got a Roger. There it is.
Roger Moore will try and work his way through this. Is he going to make it 3 wide into the chicane? It's not a good decision to do that, I think, when you're in the lead of the championship, having already taken quite a big haul of points over your championship rival. And he is going to play it a little bit patient here around the outside of Roger Morton. He's going to try and go. Tries to get the cut back onto the main straight. Roger Morton parks on the apex, but he's going to try and do it around the outside. He does have the superior speed. It is James Barry, or Mick Barry, who does give, very smart, Roger Morton a little bit of slipstream. Roger Morton can come back with that slipstream. But it is Pete van Gool, the latest of the late breakers. No, he's not. That does surprise me quite a lot. Roger Morton keeps his position in P6.
A spin in the background. And that's Ralph.
Oh,
That's Ralph going around. We'll have to get an idea, look at that in a second there for what has happened to Ralph. Yeah, he's gone off the track here. Let's have a look real quick there. This is a part of the party that Ralph didn't want to be a part of, and this is just because everybody's coming into that turn 1.
Cut off again.
And there's a collision. Did it spin Ralph around there? That was an extra tap.
Clumsy.
Yeah, it was actually. Didn't flip up, thankfully. Getting really close to a flip. Back to Pete.
Pete van Gool still challenging Roger Morton. It looks like he's now going to finally have the speed. Now onto the long straight we go once again. Down to the Dunlop hairpin. Down the inside, it looks like this is position done for Pete van Gool. Roger Morton can't cross back because Carl Jacqueline is up his inside. He's about to lose 2 positions in one corner, side by side through the Schumacher S. This is going to be very, very close. Are they going to be able to keep it side by side through the Schumacher S? Yes, they are. Almost touching. Almost banging wheels on the exit. But they do keep it side by side. Great respect from both drivers there. But Roger Morton, for the moment, keeps his P7.
Unbelievable. Don't get too many opportunities to go side by side through the center S's, that's for sure. And live to tell the story to your grandkids one day.
Look at
Papa,
this,
did you really go through there side by side? I certainly did. Yeah.
Look at this goal. So Pete van Gool challenging Mick Barry for P6 and P5. Mick Barry, though, allows Pete van Gool to go past easily. Behind this, though, Roger Morton trying to be cheeky. Carl Jacqueline does have that position now. Up to P7, he goes challenging Mick Barry in an instant.
Don't you get too cheeky, guys. They are cheeky.
Oh.
Look at this. Bumping and grinding is racing and driving, as they
This
say.
is
We're on board with
amazing.
Daryl. Daryl could try to do something about this. You got to get the slipstream, the massive slipstream. There's a 42 car up the road there. That's Carl Jacqueline. Exactly. And we're going to keep a saw. Pete Newman's hanging in there behind Mr. Daniel
Daryl
Hart.
right up the inside of Carl
That's going
Jacqueline.
to be
They have a
contact.
touch.
Absolutely.
And this is a perfect replica of what we had in race 1. With, of course,
That was inevitable.
I think it was Jamie Ayres and Pete Newman is what we saw in race 1, and that was, as you said, inevitable to happen.
Let's have a look at the crash here. Here it is. We're looking at Daryl, but you can see the cars that are now on him. So this is just into turn 1, isn't it? Classic. Everybody taking different racing lines. A massive racing line difference there. And now he has to sit there and wait for a lot of cars to zoom on by. Both of them do. Unfortunately, dropping a couple of places, but should still be in the race with that damage. Further up at the field, Jamie's now caught this pack being P1 and P2. They might even bring Mr. Craig Jones into play as they squabble it out, because he's a second and change down the road. Remember, he's looking for his championship in the AM series. But for now, he's just got to see what happens up the road and see whether or not he can do what Elise did perfectly in that last match. Just hang back, drive as fast as you can, and then just wait to see these drivers take each other out and then go, "Oh, take P1, thank you very much." Well, you never know.
Well, Elise Main is a P10, so she would need 9 drivers to crash out. But hey, never say never. This is racing.
Very possible. Further action.
Side by side here, Carl Jacqueline together with Rolf Cullinan. This is a fight that has been going on for quite some time now, but Carl Jacqueline finally gets through, and now maybe is able to build up a gap.
And back to the midfield action again, occurring between these gladiators, what we've seen a few times. And there's a couple of teammates in play here. In fact, there's a lot of teammates in play because we've got the optical green teams and the optical red teams, and they're all there. So from Charles in P8 all the way down to P12 are all the optical teams, but they're optical greens or optical reds. But further up at the moment, Pete might be making a run.
Pete Newman trying to go around the outside into turn 1. Danny Hunt is going to try and keep the inside line. This is all allowing Jamie Ayres to get closer and closer. Pete Newman does have the inside line. Did Danny Hunt leave him too much room on the inside? He opened the door. The door was wide open. And Pete Newman did not think for a moment, and he immediately stepped inside, and that is P1 for Pete Newman.
Yeah, we'll keep it on. Yeah, exactly. As if James was here broadcasting, of course, he would be saying, well, they left the door open and he got it burgled. When he got burgled, that was it. That's the famous quote that we would have from James, but I'm sure James will be enjoying this one and watching it when he gets a chance back on his holiday at the moment, probably sitting on the beach with his feet up going, huh? You guys can sweat it all out in that car. I will be not at least main now. So this is the action that's still occurring back here, and she's on a rampage right now, trying to come off that fantastic win in the first heat, climbing way up into P9 now.
She is doing a cracker of a job. Of course, remember, she had to start all the way at the back, 9 positions gained. It's once again a very consistent and very mature drive from Elise Main.
And it's interesting too whether or not I want to go back to the action because Daniel's going to put the pressure on, but that's because the teammates, all those optical green teams, the optical green, optical red, put it this way, they're optical. So whether or not there's a little communication between teams there to try to help each other out, of course, because they're drivers for the Drivers' Championship. That's something you have to do now as teammates. You know, you've got to do your multi-21s, even though that wasn't the thing. But, you know, Fernando is faster than you kind of orders from the teams is going to be something to come into play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a mistake.
What's that?
Is Pete just lifted off completely there? Has he got a problem?
Pete is blown.
He's blown his engine?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Oh, no.
You saw the puff of smoke, and I think Pete Newman has blown his engine.
And he's blown his chances. And it's all gone Titanic right now for Pete.
My goodness.
Out of this race for sure. Back in the pit lane.
This is big for the championship once again because Pete Van Gool is once again in P4. This is unbelievable.
Wow, you did see that puff of smoke, and that's a puff of dreams going down the drain. Still, obviously, a couple more races to go this evening, but that's a lot of points gone. Let's have a look at Mr. Craig Crawford in the AM class. Just up the road, Steve Hansfield. Once again, they're supposed to be teammates. They're in the same constructors, but don't tell them that because there's bumping and grinding between them. Man, it's just
so close once again to turn 1.
Just a visual thing, really, at the end of the day, isn't it? I don't think that makes any difference what the livery is on the cars. They're just going for it tooth and nail.
Yeah. Oh, almost up the inside of Andy Maxwell is Steve Hansford. This midfield battle, Biggles, it's unbelievable. Look at it. From P8 to P12 and 13. I think they're separated together by less than 2.5 seconds. A little bit of a mistake there for Mick Barry. That is going to allow, I think, Charles Kellyman now to get a good run into the Dunlop hairpin. But not quite close enough to make that move. Or was it Roger Morton who made that mistake? Yes, it was Roger Morton. Excuse me.
Roger. That's Roger Morton, of course, that needs to be getting away up. But further up at the moment, there's Jamie. Jamie sizing up Mr. Daniel. Now, Jamie's gained 7 positions. Daniel's gained 2, as you can see on there. But we're down to 1 minute and change to go in our feature race, the second race here this evening. A few more to go, but before we take a little bit of a break. And does Jamie want this one? Jamie needs his extra points after that first early incident and the first hint when he dropped him all the way back. So does he want to take a race win as redemption, or is Mr. Daniel Hunt going to close that door on him?
Well, I don't think they both have, of course. Don't tell a driver not to fight as hard as he can for P1. It's impossible. If a driver sees an opportunity to get a win, he will absolutely 100% try and go for it. But with the slipstream, he is still slower than Daniel Hunt. So I think Daniel Hunt does have the edge over him. So he needs to do it on the last lap, which we are on now. Maybe last lap, last chicane. He does not need to do what Daniel Hunt did last time round.
To Roger Moore real quick there too as well. Because look at this, Roger Morton. Crucial in the AM Championship. Keep an eye out for Barry, exactly. And keep an eye out for Charles a little bit further back. That could very much be Mr. Roger Morton getting it done. There could be an exchange between the optical green cars as teammates. But further back, yeah, of course, we're going to go back up the field. Because look at this. Checkered flag can come out in a second. Can Daniel Hunt hold off? I believe we are on the penultimate lap right now, I believe. And something didn't flash for me, but we're still looking at this, if I'm not mistaken. The 0 time on the counter. Oh, we're on laps for this one. Did I get the memo on this?
Yes. No, we are on time. Once again. I said it like 10 minutes ago that it was again a 15-minute race.
It goes through one ear and out the other when it comes to me, my friend. Talk to my parents. You never listen. Exactly, I never listen. Drivers never listen sometimes to their teams either. We'll see whether or not the teammates are going to be up to... Well, there's Steve doesn't have to listen to his teammate because he's got up the road there of Mr. Ralph. But further up, we're going to have to go back to Daniel. Because, yeah. Daniel, I don't think at the moment... We'll go to him in a second because he's going to be approaching that final corner in a minute. But I just want to see how it pans out here between Steve and Ralph. Are they going to be exchanged? Are they going to be Christmas cards exchanged or birthday cards exchanged or something like that between these drivers? Maybe, maybe not, but it might be cool to sit in that one. Well, further up, we have to go back to Daniel, mate, because it's a penultimate corner.
Already the last corner of the race.
Yep. And that's he's got it. So Jamie's backed off a little bit to take a P2. And, well, your driver of this one at the moment, so congratulations, Daniel. You win a second race there from Jamie. And then look at that, Craig Jones going, yes, that's a whole of points there because Roger Morton is finishing at P5. And look at Pete. Pete's got to be absolutely stoked, isn't he? The Flying Dutchman, because he's got P4 from 13 positions gained. And Roger, I have to say as well, should be pretty happy about that for the AM, even though Craig did finish up the road, but Craig lost 1 place. Roger gained 7.
That's
fantastic.
A good comeback.
Unfortunately, Elise is retired. Daryl had retired down your right. Pete Newman had retired. That's really going to hurt his championship.
To Elise?
I don't know. She's just retired from the session. I don't see any major crashes. That's maybe too much damage, or yeah. But
that would be...
it's unfortunate for Elise after doing such a great job. But Daniel got it done, and Daniel needed to get it done. And look at that. So a lot of position gainers. It's unfortunate for Sir Alan Tooney. He's dropped 9 places. My apologies. And of course, Elise Main. And, well, big losers, of course, Pete Newman. And Andy Littler, I think he had problems, as you mentioned, right? So that he didn't start on the grid, which was supposed to be pole. There's the results, if you'd like to go through that. Oh, wait, let me get the right ones, of course, because that was the feature race.
Elise Main won again.
Yeah, there you go. Daniel, go ahead.
Daniel Hunt wins the feature race. Jamie Ayres in P2. Craig Jones once again an AM driver. And once again, Craig Jones on a podium overall. He did it last week at Suzuka in race 1. He does it again this week in race 2. Pete Van Gool in P4. 5th is Roger Morton. 6th, Mick Barry. 7th is Charles Kellyman. 8th is Andy Maxwell. 9th, Rolf Cullinan. 10th, Steve Hansford. 11th, Greg Crawford. 12th, Carl Ejaculate. 13th, Dale Bennison. 14th, Sir Alan Toon. 15th, Darrell Wright. 16th, Pete Newman. Again, not a good race for him. Blew his engine on lap 5 of this race. Because of that, couldn't finish in the end. Elise Main in P17 and in P18. Starting the race, but going into the pits quite early is Andy Littler.
The blowing let's see if you got an idea of that one. Blowing his engine was here. There, look.
There we go, yeah.
Right there where he blew it.
I
That's
saw the
an
proper
amazing
smoke,
place to just blow your engine, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's also an easy one
Yeah.
because you shift down quite quickly. You rely quite a lot on the engine braking.
We'll go back
Could
to it
we
and
go
go
on board with
yeah,
it?
we're going to go on board. Yeah, this one. Oh, we'll go.
Yeah, look at that.
Actually, we'll go back to
I
that.
don't even need a replay.
Let's have a look.
Just listen. He was.
Bang.
Oh no! It was in first gear.
Bang!
You cannot be in first gear in this corner.
Oh, no.
No, Pete Newman. He has had an absolute stinker there. Oh, Pete.
Oh, now he's like, I could get out and push it to the pit lane, maybe. There's a pit lane entrance there, right there, too. Come on. Just come on. If you could have crept into the pit lane, then
Go downhill.
Yeah, he could have got a, I don't know. I think there's no fast repairs anyway, so there wouldn't be no time to get that one done. Wow. It's all just flipped around everywhere at the moment. It's always going to be fun. So once again, I think we're going to take another break because we're actually going to just flip it all around to go to a new session, I believe, if I'm not mistaken there, Dan.
Yes. So we will be back with you in a couple of moments' time.
All right. Don't get away, guys. Enjoy, because it's going to get more exciting from now on.
Don't go anywhere.
Well, guess what? We're back. And we're back for more racing action, as you would certainly want to be back for some more racing action, because those first 2 races have been absolutely outstanding, haven't they? I am your caster, commentator, Mr. Dean Biggles, and hopefully something should come up on the screen there for a second. There it will. Bang! Right. We're round 11 of Nurburgring. We've had the 2 feature races, sprint race and feature race done. Now we've got 2 more to go. I'm Dean Biggles. I have Dan in here with me. Dan, how's your heart?
As always. Man, not good, I have to say. it's beating way too quick. But we do have, everyone, some sad information about Elise Main. Her internet did die like we expected. She got a disconnect, and she said that it might knock her out of 3rd position in the championship.
Oh, no, Elise, I was just about to show this up right now. I don't want to add injury to insult, but perhaps we'll show that up there. So let me just empty that one and pull up those results again for a second. Elise, I don't want to have to do this to you in the championship standings, but
look how close it is.
Yeah.
From P5 to P3, this is before. Everyone, this is before race 1 and race 2.
Yep.
So this is not the updated standings. But look, it was 1 point between P3 and P5. So that win for Elise Main was big. Like,
yeah, she won. Big. She won that first race. And unfortunately, she had an internet connection for the second. But are you back in, hopefully, now, Elise? Are you back? Are you hopefully back? Oh, she's still got internet problems. I don't see her loaded in at the moment there, Elise, so please let us know if you can get back in. I want everybody, of course, to be back in. We don't want... They're going to be gridding up anyway at the moment, mate. And let's have a look at the grid results here for what will happen for this 3rd round. As it's all gone pear-shaped on that screen there for a second. So we'll hide that and show the grid.
Well, Mick Barry does take pole position.
It's a little broken. I don't know what's doing that, but don't worry about
it. If you refresh, I think it helps.
All right, we'll reload, refresh.
There we go. Mick Barry in P1, P2 is Darrell Wright, P3 Roger Morton, P4 Andy Maxwell, 5 Ralph Cullinan, and in 6th Carl Jacklett, 7 Craig Jones, 8th Pete Van Gool, Jamie Ayers in P9, 10 Daniel Hunt, please start scrolling, Charles Kellyman in P11, 12.
It's all gone pole-shaped. I can't hide it. It's broken. It does this sometimes. Anyway, we'll have to go to the grid. You'll see him in a second anyway when we get back up there. Oh, it's definitely reloaded. It's broken.
Is it broken?
Yeah, it's broken. How do you reload the whole thing? I don't want this to happen to us. Come on. It's stuck. It won't empty it.
Does it work? It's empty for me.
It's not for us, but we're going to go. We have to go.
5 red lights. It's green light, and away we go. I can't see the camera, man.
They're there, but it's braking. Anyway, they're racing.
They are, but I can't see them. They're into turn 1. We see, at least I see them for a little bit now. I don't know if this is the same for everyone on stream. No, it's not. This is just for me.
What do you mean? We're on lap 1 of Roger Moore at the moment there. Michael, and yep, it's probably just broken a little bit. I did refresh it, but that's all we can do right now because the race is on.
It's all on you then. Now.
You'll have to watch it on the stream.
There it is. It's good now.
Okay. I can't get rid of the other timing thing at the moment, so we'll just have to go.
Sorry everyone for the technical difficulties we had. But our racing, Mick Barry still in P1. Darrell Wright in P2. And in P3 it's Roger Morton. P4 Ralph Cullinan. All the pro drivers at the moment looking to take away the podiums from the AMS. Looks like that's going to happen. Down the inside goes Ralph Cullinan on Roger Morton. That's P3 for him. Roger Morton's going to lose another position maybe to Carl Jacklett. Yes, he does. And in the Schumacher's all single file once again. He's going to try and get alongside, and that is not possible. Not going to happen. Side by side behind that now is Pete Van Gool taking that position from Roger Morton. He is down to P6 already. But he's going to keep it side by side together with Pete Van Gool. And he might lose another position in doing so. Jamie Ayers coming through as well. This is absolutely calamity for Roger Morton. Dropping down like a stone in the ocean. Roger Morrison needs to find some momentum once again because this is not what he would have wanted. He was P3, he is now P7 in the span of a couple of corners. And now it is Andy Maxwell looking to take the position from him once again and put him down to P8. Into the chicane they go. It is Roger Morrison who's now finally going to slot into P7. And a little bit further back, Greg Jones side by side, I think with Pete Newman as well.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go to that battle.
Into the last corner, Pete Newman up the inside of Greg Jones. And that is Pete Newman up into P10. He will need to perform now because the points that he has lost might mean that he's already out of the championship. I don't think that is the case, but if he loses more and more points,
and here's Ralph making a run for past the lead of the race. Just behind them, of course, is Carl and Daryl Wright. And look at that, we got AM drivers of Mick Barbie. That's probably one of the first times to see Mick Barbie leading a race at the moment, which is great, of course, with the grid all flipped around. But hey, leading a race is leading a race, of course. 22 minutes left of this race session to go, because it's a lot longer. My apologies, might be the other way around. I'll flip it in a second, because we had all sorts of
it's 7 laps
graphic.
now.
7 laps now.
Now,
it's
Biggles?
laps. Okay, now we've got laps. All right, cool. Thank you.
This race and the next lap is laps.
All right, I'm not usually the one that does that production. Of course, James is the one that does that, and do our best, of course. Further back, I think Pete Newman's making a run. Here he is. Now, Pete needs to be making a run. I think
Ralph Cullen.
Yep, okay.
Trying to make a run on his teammate Mick Barry into the Dunlop hairpin. He's going to try and do something. Not really. Side by side, a little bit further back is I think, Daryl Wright together with Carl Jacqueline. Oh, off the track there is Mick Barry. Ralph Cullen gets through. A little bit further back, I think it is Carl Jacqueline, who was off track there as well, losing all momentum and getting overtaken in the Senna S's.
Yeah.
Senna S's.
We're going to have a lot of replays to look at in a minute.
Wow.
Pete Newman again.
Pete Newman, he is showing that he is a very quick driver in that Pure Sims sponsored MX5. Trying to go around the outside of Carl Jacqueline now, but up front it's Pete Van Gool trying to overtake Mick Barry now as well and try to get up the back of Rolf Cullen, but he first needs to overtake Mick Barry, and he's doing everything that he has. He's throwing everything at it, and he's not allowing Pete Van Gool to get past this easily. He's going to have to do it around the outside. He might be able to cut back. He's going to try and do that. This has allowed Jamie Ayres to get the better exit. Is he now going to try and do something? Mick Barry does not have the slipstream of his teammate Rolf Cullen up ahead.
Well, they are teammates as well. So, I mean,
yeah,
you got to work together in this championship. But how much are they going to work together?
Pete Van Gool is going to try it around the outside of turn 1. He's going to be able to make that one stick. Maybe both Momo sponsored cars are going to be able to get through in one go. That is not the case. Mick Barry, the latest of the later breakers.
Yeah, Mick Barry's going wide. That's definitely going to compromise him. Oh, poor Mick Barry's doing such a good job. He's going to come back in, of course, but he's going to be barreling it up with Daryl. And Daniel, of course, is back up in here as well. So Ralph has won races before the Irishman, and he is very capable of holding off Jamie and Pete Van Gool, but he's going to have to do it for about 4 laps and change, and the Irishman has done it. So don't mess with him, and he wants to win a race. He's going to win a race, but once again, he's got 2 fast Momo cars behind him.
Exactly. At the front of the field, though, those 2 Momo cars, they switched positions in all of it, and Jamie Ayres now ahead of Pete Van Gool.
Maybe they just to switch. Maybe they feel that Jamie's a bit quicker or not, but we'll see, because they got a bit of work to do. 1.8 seconds. That battling's definitely helped out Ralph, and Ralph has gained 4 positions in this, so he's looking good. Maybe perhaps for another win. I think we did lose Elise. She's not here, so their internet connection. She didn't even start this one. It's so sad after the great performance that she's been doing, and perhaps a whole of points that she can't gonna get in this championship.
The man in second, starting this championship in second this evening, was Charles Kellyman. And no, I am wrong with that. Never mind. Go on.
That's all right. You go.
The one starting the championship in second was Steve Heffert.
Build the excitement up anyway. It's fine.
Steve Heffert, like we know, not here at the moment.
Keep an eye on Pete Newman, because he's definitely in the championship hunt, and he needs to get some crucial points here this evening, because it hasn't gone Pete Newman's waiting. I think he got a tap, but that wasn't him. It's actually behind. And that was Daryl. Now Daryl's gone around. Daryl got a tap behind. I thought that was Pete that got a tap, but luckily for Pete it didn't. Let's have a look at the replay of what happened to Daryl. That was definitely somebody hitting him from behind. Where was this? Is this the famous turn 1 incident? I'm not quite sure. Look where Daryl is, the 84 car. And he gets contact there.
Oh,
yeah, and there's also further contact behind, and everybody should go through the center S's, no problems, and Daryl has to wait to let everybody pass and be frustrated about it, but it is what it is.
You did the same as me. The center S's are not on this circuit.
And Jamie and Pete have now switched they're exchanging positions again. That's interesting. So
I don't know which
Jamie
camera
S.
you're using now, but it is broken for me. I have the scenic now.
Yeah, I changed it back, but because it went straight to the scenic for some crazy reason as well. But anyway, hopefully, has Craig Crawford crashed? Let's have a look at the replay. No, he's by himself at the moment down in P14. That could be. There's all the kerfuffling in the turn one. Has he gone straight? Yeah, just too wide off. All right. And, well, there it is. You might need to refresh and have a look at the cameras.
I see it now. They are in a fierce fight once again. Jamie Ayres, Daniel Hunt, and now those two positions they have switched once again. Jamie Ayres once again behind Pete Van Gool. Pete Van Gool now trying to hunt down Ralph Cullinan at the front of the field. Ralph Cullinan coming into this evening, he was in P7 in the championship. So he's definitely doing a very good job to gain some positions there.
He's done it. Yeah, he's done it a couple of weeks ago as well. Man, Ralph can win races. He gets out in front. He's a machine. Problem is, he's slowly losing a bit of time. He had a gap of 1.8 seconds, whilst both of the Momo teams of Pete Van Gool and Jamie Ayres were battling it out. And look at that, they've sliced this gap down to 1 second now. So Ralphie has to be thinking a little bit about, what am I going to do to hold them off? It's also bringing Mr. Daniel Hunt into play. And can that also help Pete Newman in P5 gain a little bit of time, of course, and Mick Barbie there back in P6. But these are Pete Newman, 10 places gain. Right? He's in a championship hunt here, at least high up there. But the problem is his contenders are further up the road there. Pete Van Gool is the one that he needs to be getting past. So he's probably on texting on the phone right now to Ralph going, Ralph, do whatever you can to slow that man down. Don't let him past. Because Pete's putting in those fastest laps too for now. Just put one in, trying to catch this pack.
I don't know how that is a fastest lap, because Daniel Hunt was clearly 7/10 faster. For some reason, it says that Pete Newman now has the fastest lap at 8.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're having a little bit of telemetry issues and all that sort of jazz up here in the casting box, obviously, with the screens playing tricks on us. But thankfully, they're not playing tricks on the drivers, just us.
As long as the drivers don't start playing tricks on themselves, like we've seen in race 1 at the end, I think we are once again up for 2.5 then.
I wonder if Elise was in here right now, she'd be like, I would like to be back in that P5 position where Pete Newman is right now.
Yeah.
And then I just sit there and wait for them to take each other out and then go bye-bye and then top step of the podium. That's what you want. But at the moment, Pete Van Gool's really putting him out of pressure there on Ralphie. Now, Ralphie's been in the situation. He's Irish. He's cool, calm, and collective. He knows how to handle the situation. But then again, he knows he's got two fast Momo cars. But Ralph is not going to make it easy. No way. Look at that. Not make it easy at all. It's Ralph's time to shine right now, but how much can he really hold him off? And how much does he want to hold him off? That's the key.
Well, he has no one to lose time to.
Yeah.
He is the one they all need to gain time to. So he can fight how much he wants. Try and maybe force Jamie Ayres to overtake Pete Van Gool because he doesn't want to lose a position to Daniel Hunt. And that way, maybe make him fall for it. But as it looks like, it is Pete Van Gool up to P1 into the chicane. Pete Van Gool already has to
stay
jump
on board right now, Daniel, so we can watch it from his perspective. Yeah, this is a great angle from Daniel because easily, if they make a mistake, Daniel can slide on by. Yeah, there's two abreast. Daniel might have just got past. He get on the very right-hand side. He knows that Jamie's there. He could have get a better exit here. And then Pete has got it. No, they're going to go side by side and go to an external camera and see all this action that's going on now. Wow. Get you. This is the penultimate lap too, mate. Penultimate lap. Oh no, you said it's a time race. I'm getting all over the place again now. We're on a time race. We're not on a lap race.
We're on a lap race.
Oh, we're on a lap race. Okay, we got it. Okay, so we're on the penultimate lap.
We are on the penultimate lap. Yes, you were right.
Get it right. Okay, cool. We'll get something right today. Don't worry about it.
Well, Daniel Hunt, now he's passed Pete Newman. He might try and overtake Pete Van Gool as well, together with Ralph Cullinan.
Oh, Pete's going to go flat out,
But
my friend. Pete wants this. And Pete needs crucial points here, for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that, Pure Sims Esports. Pete, he's even got the... he's not from Germany, but he's got... Here in Germany, he has a very German-esque, beautiful livery on his helmet, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Pete wants to... Pete knows he's got Daniel Hunt, but he wants to get past Pete, the other Pete. That's his target. It's a Pete battle in the championship, remember. Pete versus Pete. Problem is for Pete Newman, Pete Van Gool's up the road. So, yeah.
Amazing.
If Peter could pick of Peters, which Peter would Peter pick? That's what I'm not even going to go into that tongue twister right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt and bring it out,
There we
James.
go. That's dangerous coming back.
Touch.
Very, very lucky not to get the police maneuvered, as I'd like to say, isn't it? Because these cars, while they're strong, they got to be putting in the right direction. This is very dangerous. As James got to allow some space here. Remember, you have blind spots in these mirrors. It ain't that easy, just like your regular road car, because you're looking forward and you're looking at this car. Hope you got a spotter telling you, hey, you're left, you're right, you're left, you're right. Doesn't matter. This is going to be fantastic. It's also bringing, of course, Jamie Ayres into play again, helping out the Momo team.
Oh, look at this around the outside. Pete Newman, he's going to try and hang around. He's going to try and do the switchback, but Daniel Hunt places it on the apex as best as he can. Now, Pete Newman has the inside for the last corner. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? Yes, he does. He has to watch the exit, but he has already overtaken Daniel Hunt before they even get to the exit. I do think that Daniel Hunt is now on the right-hand side. He's done a beautiful switchback, and he's now going to try and keep the inside for turn one. Please do not tag each other and put someone round, because Pete Newman could use these valuable points.
He's got wide at the front as well.
Look up the road. Pete Van Gool side by side with Ralph Cullinan as well.
Well, we knew this was going to be an exciting race and realized how exciting it was going to be again and again and again, because it's the last lap of this race. One more to go. After this, can Pete hold off Ralph? Can the other Pete Newman hold off Daniel? And we know Daniel's been feisty so far in this around Nurburgring. Absolutely fantastic racing. You got to look at that. Pete Newman's gained 10 positions. Daniel Hunt's gained 6. 7 for Pete Van Gool. And Ralph has gained 3. The Irishman. And the Irishman can still take this one back. Look at this. He's got... how much time has he got? But I had to probably say at the moment, Daniel's going to make a run right now on Pete Newman. This is crucial too, because Pete Newman in this championship cannot afford to lose a place. And how much battling is he really going to do? Is he really going to give it everything and hold off this? I don't think he can get it. I don't know. He's going to try.
He's going to try it side by side through the Schumacher S. Like we said, not a place to go side by side through, with great respect from both drivers. Jamie S behind that is going to look to get past both of them. Side by side, he is now with Pete Newman. Oh, look at that. Just putting his nose up there. But Jamie Ayres, this has allowed him to get up to the back of Pete Newman. It's just the last lap, remember. Up at the front, it's Cullinan and Pete Van Gool as well, fighting it out for the lead. It's also close. It's now underneath 1.5 tenths.
Yep.
It's going to try it around the outside. But Pete Van Gool has that covered. And I think if he gets through the chicane cleanly now, Ralph Cullinan, there's no way for him. Look, he uses all the track available to him. Side by side, a little bit further back, Pete Newman. Up into P3, he goes in the last corner.
He holds it.
Daniel Hunt keeps into P4, and Jamie Ayres finishes P5.
Wow.
And yeah, what a race that was once again, Biggles.
Wow. Absolutely. Hey, wait. Did Pete... Oh, the line's already been, hasn't he? Because he's parked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, wow. Not a place to park it too soon. I thought the line was right there, actually. But that must be a different checkered flag line. Anyway. Unbelievable. How did it pan out for everybody else further down? Roger, let's keep an eye on the AM. So Craig's finished in P7 and Roger Morton's finished in P11.
I think that's going to be too big of a gap to do anything in the last race. Or too small of a gap still to win that in the last race. Pete Van Gool, though, it is going to be close because he's been on top this whole evening.
Yeah, we'll get the results up there at the moment there for that race for you to look at for everybody. And it should come up in a second. There he is.
There it is. Pete Van Gool wins once again on the Nurburgring Grand Prix. Striker Alf Cullinan in P2. Look at that, 1.5 tenths in between them, as close as you like. Pete Newman in P3, once again finishing behind Pete Van Gool, but limiting the damage this time around. Gained 12 positions during this race. Daniel Hunt finishing in P4. Jamie Ayres finishing in P5. P6 is for Mick Barry. 7th is Craig Jones. 8th, Charles Kellyman. 9th, Andy Maxwell. 10th, Carl Jacqueline. 11th, Roger Morton. 12th, Dale Bennison. 13th, Steve Hansford. Greg Crawford in P14. P15, Dallor Wright. P16, Andy Littler. And Sir Alan Toon, 1 lap down in P17. The one we're missing, why we're not having 18 drivers now, is Elise Main. She still has some internet issues. That is why she can't be here.
Oh, wanted to see that. Elise battling it out. She's definitely going for a championship here. She wants it. She could have got that P3, but it's still time, of course, because it ain't over yet. We still have more racing to go, and this is only the penultimate round.
Yeah. But, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to go once again to another session now. So, Biggles and I will join you in a couple of minutes' time. Don't go anywhere, because you don't want to miss race 4, because as we've seen in all the last rounds, race 4 is always the most chaotic and best race. Welcome back, everyone. Dean, Biggles, and me, Dan, Pepels, once again here. And we're back for the last race of this evening. And like we know, race 4, almost always the most crazy and chaotic race we have at the UK SimRacers MX5 League. Round 11 not at the Nurburgring has been a cracker so far, Biggles.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think that anything can tip at what we have seen in race 1. It's got to be difficult. Race 4 is chaotic. Don't get me wrong. But if the level of chaoticness we've seen in race 1, 2, and 3 is normal, then I don't know what we're going to see for race 4. Are we going to see them drive backwards?
Upside down? In all directions, remember? It's space-time continuum. We could be, we're talking about,
Zero gravity.
maybe a 4th dimension, 5th dimension even, who knows? But I guarantee you somebody's going to be crossing that line first and be very happy, and somebody's going to be maybe not even crossing that line at all. And don't talk to some of the drivers about blowing engines as well. That's even it could go up in smoke, couldn't it? It could literally blow up in smoke right now for everybody. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Of course, Pete's given us I think Pete's a happy camper, of course, at the moment, knowing that he's getting more and more points and just slowly more and more. Pete's probably already just measuring the shelf right now in his room, going, okay, so how much room do I need for this trophy, and how much space is this trophy going to take? That's what Pete's probably thinking about right now.
Dangerous to
Pete Van Gool. Yeah. Yeah, but hey, there's nothing wrong with having the shelf prepared for the trophy. You just need to get the trophy, and we still have, obviously, after this, Silverstone to go to. But so far, Pete's definitely been mopping up the points that he needs to be mopping up. As we're getting into the evening-ish here in the track, and I'll give you the track temperatures as well, too, mate. How much will that, do you think, will influence here for the final race?
I think, to be honest, that the track temperature, of course, it has dropped down quite a bit. It's going to get dark in a second as well, as you see the headlights on the cars.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to influence it quite a lot.
Very true. As we're looking at Sir Alan Toon, hasn't had the best of days today from Mr. Sir Alan, but plenty of time, of course. Well, just have, look at this, Roger. Just start stretching the boundaries of his car right now. Can he keep it out of the fence? Just a little bit of drifting. Maybe trying to get some temperature into those tires, as he's just completely off-road at the moment, mowing the lawn. You know what, Roger? If you're that good at mowing the lawn, mate, I'm going to fly you and your car over here to Panama, and you can mow plenty of my backyard lawns if you're doing that.
Well, here in Netherlands,
yeah, he's just drifting.
It's not worth to mow your lawn because it's freaking yellow because it's so dry.
Ah, mate, you know how much rain I've had here recently? So much rain. The gardener once a week has to mow the lawns where I am. Otherwise, it turns into a jungle. I am in a jungle, so I guess that's the reason why it turns into a jungle. Yeah. Well, you see, we're getting our rain in the opposite, El Nino and all that. Like, we're getting all the rain in this part of the world, and you guys are getting none. And it's going to flip, mate, because, I mean, did you see what happened recently in Dallas, Texas, the other day in the States? They had no rain for a record amount of days, and then all of a sudden it downpoured and they had flash floods.
Yes.
But I don't think anybody in the world right now is immune from crazy weather. But what we won't be immune from will be the crazy racing that's going to happen for the fourth race, the final race of this evening as well.
Well, it always looks like the drivers are getting tired. Man, race 4 is always chaotic.
We got a grid for you too for this one.
Steve Hansford starting on pole position. Dale Bennison in P2. Roger Morton once again on all AM podium at the start. Roger Morton in P3. Carl Jacqueline in P4. Andy Maxwell in P5. Charles Kellyman in P6. Greg Jones in P7. Mick Barry in P8. Jamie Ayres in P9. 10th is Daniel Hunt. Pete Newman in P11. And in P12 we have Ralph Cullinan, Pete Fangool in P13. So a big comeback race for him. Greg Crawford in P14 and P15 is Darrell Wright. P16 Andy Littler and P17 Sir Alan Toon.
Hopefully it'll disappear this time, and it has. So we got it right. Apologies about the little graphics that was stayed up there at the moment, but guess what? Final race. What do you reckon, Dan? It's time to go racing in Nurburgring.
5 lights are on. Down and we're on the way for race 4 this evening. And it is a good start for Steve Hansford. A brilliant start for Steve Hansford. And it is Dale Bennison alongside him almost. Oh, Dale breaking very, very early there. And Carl Jacquelet from P4 to P2 into turn 1. Alongside that, Roger Morton down the inside of Dale Bennison as well. Dale Bennison could be about to lose a couple of positions. He goes wide. And that is maybe going to allow Andy Maxwell to get up the inside as well. Who's that? I think that's called Jacquelet. Yeah, that is called Jacquelet with a little bit of a stoppage there into turn 4. A very weird one, but seems like they all got through cleanly.
Craig Crawford, I believe, might have an incident earlier, but we'll see, checking about that one later. But Roger, there's obviously Jamie Ayres at the moment. Roger Moore is a little bit up the road. Blimp cam maybe, bad blimp cam. We'll go to chopper cam. Who's lifted off a little bit there to kind of just doesn't want to get a part of that party at the moment.
That's Dale Bennison. Yeah. Dale Bennison. He started from P2. He's already down to P12.
Might have an issue or something. Just over 12 away, yeah.
Oh, look at the front though. P1. A lead changer side by side through the Schumacher SS. Oh, look at that. They're all side by side. And there's contact for Pete Newman. Further back.
I got a feeling that something's going to go wrong, and it has. Pete's gone around. Here. Craig's gone around.
Pete Newman around once again. Pete Van Gool in P11, so not a lot of points for him there to gain. But Jamie Ayres, he almost made it 3 wide into turn.
What's happened to Pete? Let's have a look. This is it.
He had a touch here already.
Yeah, it was, and it's putting him off. And does he come back on there and take anybody out? Yes, it was.
No.
Not deliberately, of course. Anybody else going to smash it? No. So they're back on the track, of course, but that's a lot of work to do with 6 laps to go. Anything is possible, of course. Pete has pace, but he's going to need a miracle right now because he's in P16. Further back, Andy battling it out here with Mr. Roger Morton. Roger Morton, of course.
I think that is Jamie Ayres going into the pit lane.
Interesting.
Why has that happened then?
Damage or something, yeah.
Drive through maybe? Or damage could be the case. Never mind. Into turn 1, Roger Morton trying to cut the inside of Andy Maxwell. Not able to do so, but has to turn attack into defense. Because Steve Hansford trying to have a look around the outside. Fence off everything. We're single file once again, Biggles, but that was an incredible start, and that is exactly what race 4, as always, has installed for us.
And Carl Jacquelet is looking pretty good. But once again, that action. Oh, and that's Steve going a little twirly-whirly coming out of the corner, and that's Steve under massive pressure there for the optical green car. He's going to have to get a bit of work done, and look on the inside here. This could be very dangerous. There's different speeds coming into this corner. Multiple
look
speeds.
Behind all of this, though. Look at that. Is Pete Van Gool already up to P6. Trying to get up into P5. Already up 7 positions in the first 2 laps of this race. And of course, with Pete Newman down in P15, this could once again, as he goes now down the inside of Steve Hansford. Beautiful move there.
Lots of late breakers on that one. Big time.
Exactly. This could once again be a big haul of points for Pete Van Gool to take with him and to strengthen his lead for the last round next week.
Wow. All right. We're liking this. We are liking this. Ralph was also putting a bit of pressure on the back there of Benson. But we might have to go back to that one in a second because look at this. Mr. Daniel Hunt is on the hunt. And Roger. And he may have very much got him. Now, Roger, of course, is very much trying to defend the possibilities of winning that AM class. So he doesn't need to be battling so much with Daniel Hunt, but then again, you know, Roger Morton's definitely going to be in the Pro Series next season for sure, if he's going to be racing, no doubt. Because
I think the higher up he is in the race, the more points he gets in the AM Championship.
Yeah, and he could be looking at running away with that. His biggest contender, of course, is Craig Jones. He's in P14 for the AMs.
Are we sure it's not Craig Crawford?
Sorry, you could be right on that one. My apologies. I was just having a little bit of the sneezing. Here we go. So, Mr.
Down
Pete
the
Van
inside,
Gool.
Pete Van Gool. Almost 2 for 1 there in turn 1. Roger Morton, he's going to go out wide. He's going to try it around the outside. A big ball move. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? The next one is to the left once again. Turn 4. Oh, so close. The next one is to the right. He will have the inside here. And this will maybe be position done. Yes, it is. Oh, a little bit of a touch further back. And that is Charles Kellyman together with Roger Morton. And they're going to go side by side into turn 6. And they're single file once again. But Pete Van Gool up into P3. Gap to Daniel Hunt now, 2.1 seconds. Oh, but he goes wide. That is not going to help him.
See if Andy can do anything about this one right now. Andy Maxwell, 19 car, currently running a P6, dropped a place, of course. He's got Mr. Hansford behind him. Steve Hansford has dropped 6. We don't even mention Mr. Pete Van Gool's 10 positions gained already in this race.
Oh, no. Look at the bottom of the tower. Pete Newman
Out.
completely out of this race. That will mean that he will score no points. That will mean even more points for Pete Van Gool.
Here before as well, too, from Maxwell.
Jamie Ayres also back down on P16. Have those two had contact once again, or is that just Jamie Ayres coming out of the pit lane that far back? Anyways, Pete Van Gool will pick up another big haul of points if he can keep that car in P3, or maybe even better. And Roger Morton is, as we see, just up the road going into the chicane now. Right ahead of us was Steve Hansford. Roger Morton pressurizing Charles Kellyman. Is he now going to be able to get up one more position overall? He doesn't need to, of course. He just, if he can run away from Steve Hansford behind them, he does a good enough job, because that will mean that he will pick up the win in the AM
He's going to do something behind. Look at that, Steve and Daryl into
like
turn 1.
Down to turn 1.
Chopper cam gives us an indication of that fantastic hairpin overtaking opportunities. And Littler's out, I think.
What has happened to him?
Not sure. Yeah, and update, of course, Elise Main says, yep, she's out. Very unfortunate, Elise, with her internet issues of just, you know, the car has not cooperated with her, and unfortunately she hasn't been around. But then again, Elise, don't let that let you down, because it wasn't your fault. That's something out of your control. So all you can do is bounce back the best you can next week and still be absolutely stoked about your race win in this series tonight. Yep.
Andy Maxwell together with Steve Hansford, the single file once again, but Andy Maxwell coming out so wide, and if you get into the grass there is
and
no
further up at the moment there,
anymore.
James, Daniel Hunt, sorry to cut you off there, making a run for the lead of this race. 8 positions gained there from Carl Jacklett, and Carl's not usually up in the lead of this race, but it may not be in the lead of this race for too long if Mr. Daniel Hunt could do something about it.
If he can do something about it, but this fighting is allowing Pete Van Gool to get close as well. He's going to have to do it quick, otherwise they're going to lose massive amount of time to Pete Van Gool behind them. Up the inside, he's going to try and do it. It's Daniel Hunt now into the lead of this race. Carl Jacklett forced down to P2, but look at this. All this fighting as Daniel Hunt comes out a little bit wide there has allowed Pete Van Gool to almost get within that second and get within the slipstream range.
And also bring a little bit of that Morgan into play. Roger Morgan, yep, you're right.
Charles Kellyman together with Roger Morton, 2/10 his gap. He's not going to be close enough to do anything into the chicane. Never mind. Oh, that was a little bit late in the brakes, Roger. Oh, but he does manage to keep it out of the back of Charles Kellyman.
Somehow. Exactly. Amazing. You like to see it.
But coming back to what you said about...
And there's Roger and Ralphie, Steve Houseville and Roger. So, yep, they've been in the wars a few times before. They're going to be in the wars again for this final race of the season. So, sorry, tonight, not the season tomorrow. Here we go. Main drag strip. Who's got a little bit more upshift and downshift? Who's got a little bit more slipstream? Who's got a bit braver on the brakes, of course, and the colder temperatures.
Oh, contact.
More contact,
That
I'd
was
say
a close
again.
one. Oh my goodness, this is just how crazy and how close this is. It's unbelievable. Race 4 is once again living up to the hype.
Absolutely. Well, not for Pete Newman's hype that he didn't want, of course. What, Pete Newman blow an engine, if I'm not mistaken, now out of this race? In the fourth one?
Once again, a blue engine. Or...
Oh, was it another blown engine? Let's have a look. We can go back to the replay real quick. What happened to Pete Newman? This is crucial, of course, in the championship. Here's Pete. That's just a pit lane entrance. I'm not seeing anything before that. So he just retired in the pit lane for something that happened earlier. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it is not showing us any indication. Or did he blow up into the pit before he got the pit lane entrance? I'm not sure. Oh, anyway.
But
we can't worry about that.
What you said about Elise Main, as we have once again people going side by side. Looks like this is not going to result in anything.
This
but
is back
Elise
for
Main, that disconnect comes on an evening where she had such a good result. Hang on for a second there because we're going to go side by side, I think, through the left-hander. Oh. And that is Pete Van Gool up into P2. But it comes on an evening for Elise Main where she had such a good result. And it puts like a grey glamour over the fact that she has won, because she has now lost P3 in the championship, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be reminding her about that anymore, unfortunately. Oh, because she's going to be upset. Look at the space left. No, is that cut off? No, that's not cut off. That's Carl Jackler and Pete Van Gool. So Carl coming back at Pete saying, I don't, it doesn't worry me if you're the man that's leading this Drivers' Championship at the moment. I'm not going to let you beat me on track for the final time this evening with a few more race laps to go in this championship, the fantastic championship here at the UK SimRacers, of course, for these fantastic Mazdas. And I don't know. Then again, if you're Pete, you're like, okay, I've got a ton of points. He's been, probably overall the best driver this evening, apart from Elise, I'd have to say, but if Elise was still around. However, Pete's got a lot to risk here. Well, he's got a lot more points, of course, but, Pete goes around at the moment in and into the fence. That's a whole bunch of points gone. So, does Pete want to risk it for the biscuit? Then again, Pete always does risk it for the biscuit, doesn't he?
I mean, knowing the fact that he's Dutch, he is always going to risk it.
Dutch courage, isn't it what they say? Dutch courage?
He's going to try around.
Oh, yes.
Try and go around the outside. He doesn't want to touch the grass on the outside here, but he's going to force that wide. Going to be forced out wide. He has the inside for the right-hander, and there's a little touch. And this is what he doesn't want.
Yeah.
So now he's got to think. He's racing very aggressively. Do I want to be involved in this beautiful camera here?
Yeah, look at that excitement. Look at the concentration on him, exactly.
But he's now got to think, is it worth it to fight him? But knowing Pete Van Gool and knowing us Dutchies, he's going to go side by side through the Schumacher S. Like I said, I counted on it. Side by side, and he's now going to try and get the drive out of the Schumacher S. He's going to try and go up the inside of the left-hander. If he does so, there's a good chance he will take that position up the inside. And Carl Jacqueline finally get it out of there. Now has to yield. No, he does not. Up the inside still. And Pete Van Gool back down to P3.
Yeah, no, I'm loving the fight spirit there from the optical red car there of Carl, the 42. Just giving it everything he can. You don't, I think at this point in this championship, doesn't matter if the championship leaders there battling. But further back, let's have a look at this. This is where it's also very critical because we get a ton of cars here. Traffic jam on the motorway here. Oh, who's that gone really wide? Is that Roger? That was Roger that car was airborne. Yeah. How did he survive that?
Wow. Roger Morton, that car is made of steel.
Yeah, a bit of carbon. You would have hoped carbon fiber, and I think Pete's actually got the job done now. Maybe I tell you what, Carl is not going to yield this at all. I know he wouldn't either, the 42 optical car.
He's wide.
Yeah, he's wide. You can't leave the door open like that.
This is not it. They're still side by side,
Oh.
Biggles. Goodness me, up the inside goes Carl Jacqueline, and they're still side by side.
This is
This
why.
fight has gone on for more than a lap now.
Carl Jacqueline doesn't. He's got nothing to lose. Pete Van Gool has a championship to lose. I think Pete might have just backed off there for a second. Don't forget Daniel Hunt's in the lead of this race. We'll go to Daniel. He's a little bit up the road. He's not a problem. Daniel's looking in the mirrors going, what is going on behind me?
Oh, look further up in the back. Charles Kellyman side by side. They're going to... I think that was Ralph Cullinan. They're now single file once again, but that was some side-by-side action. A little bit further back, Roger Morton. He has the better drive out of the corner, but
it's not enough, is it?
To try anything.
Further back, here goes Pete again. Pete's possible. Very much last chance because they're in the back straight now. The second half of the track.
Yeah, are they going to go side-by-side through the Schumacher S once again?
Oh, no, I think this time around. Oh, no, not when you go too wide like that. But he's got a better exit speed.
This is yours, Biggle.
I don't want to. I'm scared to look. I'm scared to look. I'm closing my eyes.
Oh, he kind of cut him off there, but he finally has the position.
Yep.
But now this might have been a tactical one. Up the inside goes, I think this is Carl Jacqueline. No, never mind. They're fighting up ahead.
Kellyman, Roger Moore.
Yes.
Also got Andy and Darrell Wright, I think, all battling out too for now. And this is crucial for the other parts of the championship, of course. As Roger. Carl Jacqueline, I don't think can do anything about it. We might have to go up to Daniel Hunt because Daniel Hunt in a minute is going to be crossing the line in a second. We'll see what's going to happen here. Before we switch back. No!
Oh, was that off?
That's right, I think. Maxwell. Yeah, well, look at that one. But Daniel's going to come across, and Daniel's going to get a nice race victory there. Daniel Hunt has been doing a fantastic weekend. Good job, good solid job. 9 positions gained for the DOF Reality Sim Racing Studios there. Pete, of course. Well, Pete's Pete.
That comes through in second.
He got Carl Jacqueline. But Carl Jacqueline has gained just 1 spot there. Ralphie got the 8 for Ralphie. Another great drive from the Irishman. And then Charles Kellyman can get that one. Let's go have a look at that last minute overtake, I think it was. And who was that between? If I'm not mistaken. Was that Ralphie? Ralphie around here? Was this here? Charles and Ralph?
This after it already, I think. Oh, look at this side by side, running up to the line.
Yeah, this is up the line here. Look at this.
Oh, look how close this is then. A sprint to the line.
Yeah, Charles just got him. And Roger Morton, I think, was, a little bit further back. So there it is.
No, Ralph Cullinan was the one that finished the P4.
You're right. Absolutely.
The red and white car.
That's because Andy went off track, I think it was. Look at this. Where was this? This was lap 7, actually. This is a lap earlier. That's for the contact.
Roger Morton together with Andy Maxwell.
Yeah.
Unfortunate there.
We have the results, obviously, from this race to go up. Oh, if it's the right race.
This is the right race.
I got it right.
Daniel Hunt wins this race. The most dominant victory we've seen this evening in race 4. And that's because the two behind them, Pete Van Gool and Carl Jacqueline, were on it. We're fighting for P2 from lap 3 onwards, basically. They have not stopped since, and that has allowed Daniel Hunt to create that gap. Ralph Cullinan in P4, 11 seconds back from Daniel Hunt, and 5 seconds back from Carl Jacqueline roundabout. Charles Kellyman in P5, 6th. Roger Morton, our AM winner. Darrell Wright, P2 in the AM and P7 overall. And Craig Jones, P3 in the AM and P8 overall. Andy Maxwell in P9, P10 Steve Hansford, P11 Dale Bennison, 12th Greg Crawford, 13 Andy Littler, 14 Jamie Ayres, 15 Sir Alan Toon, 16 Mick Barry, and 17th, not where he wanted to finish, not for the championship at least, Pete Newman. Wow.
Biggles. So many views, of course, too. So I think at the moment what we do is that we can probably bring in, let's go Carl at the moment, who managed to finish in P3 in this race. So we can drag Carl into the casting box at the moment and have a bit of a quick chat there too. Carl Jacqueline, that finished in that, as I said, like was leading this race and just at this point actually wasn't leading, coming in P2. Carl, can you bring Carl in here for a second? We'll have a look at Carl. a chat to Carl. Here we go. Carl,
Sure.
welcome along to the interview room. Welcome along to the final round of here, and welcome. Yeah, congratulations, you know, P3 there in that final race. How was your overall
almost
race
P2.
weekend?
Race 1 was good. That was a P3 as well. Race 2 and race 3, we'll forget about those. And race 4 was a fantastic battle with Pete. Absolutely made up for the disappointments in 2 and 3.
It did, but the overall weekend was pretty good, I'd have to say, isn't it? That you had like in the 42 optical red car, like.
Yeah, I was very disappointed race 2 and 3. I got into some good positions, but unfortunately there was some comings together, which pushed me back down the field again. One race I was almost last, I think. Just the bit of damage I had on the front when someone spun across my nose really took the speed out of the car.
I don't remember which one that was specifically, and maybe Dan, because mate, there was so much action in all these 4 races this evening.
Yeah, probably missed it.
Yeah, there was like, I don't know, there was cars and all over the place, and there was it could have been some massive nasty accidents. I remember a lot of the drivers sneaking through. Can't remember even if it was yourself that got a little bit of a side scraped or whatever. That's something we have to all. That's why you got the beauty of the stream up there, so you can rewatch it all over there.
Oh yeah.
Elise is saying a great drive to you, Carl. Elise, unfortunately, you would have been loving to battle out with her because she unfortunately had to drop out on those last couple of races because of her internet. I think maybe 3 of them, but
yeah. It's a great shame that she couldn't make the races because she's got great pace. Absolutely
consistent as
pace.
well. How'd you get in the first race, by the way? Where did you finish in the first race weekend? Because it all that pole shaft at the end with those drivers at the top.
Yeah, third.
Yeah.
Elise dived through. As we were approaching the chicane, I said on the Discord, be ready to pick up the pieces, and we just slotted through. We were waiting for it. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, and you're in the same team, right? The optical teams.
Yeah, optical red. Yeah, teammate.
But are you guys versing the optical green? Because at some point, I remember there was like 7 cars in a row of all the optical teams, and I'm like, how much team waters are going to come and play here? Are you versing the green opticals and the blue opticals, or is that, I think it's just red and green at this point now, isn't it?
We were driving. That was race 1, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
We were just driving very much within ourselves, not going for passes against each other. Because there was a few opportunities that it could have forced the issue and made a pass out of it, but no, we were just running for the team and holding station.
I like it. So no multi-21 orders or that sort of jazz, or Elise is faster than you, or you're faster than Elise. So anyway, yeah, well, I like it, Carl. Remember, I'm just watching these cars, you guys bouncing around there. I hope your back's okay after that. The suspension must almost be snapped as we're just watching some highlighted of the cars bouncing around. Yeah. Going in, and we don't have the updated standings or any of that sort of jazz at the moment there, because that was just crazy. No idea. I don't think anybody has any idea, but how are you looking at obviously going back home in your home in Silverstone for the final race?
I enjoy Silverstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had some good results on the faster type circuits. They seem to suit my driving style a bit. So on the quick tracks, I've tended to do quite well. On the very technical, slower tracks, I struggle.
Ah, excellent. And I heard a rumor there that both Dan and I heard earlier that we were chatting that the Queen might very much be attending this event. So you will be under the spotlight, my friend, from some royalty, perhaps. So
awesome.
If you get a few podiums, she might be up there,
Yeah, meet her again.
Meet her again. Okay. So Sir Carl, it could be. We already have a Sir. It's Alan. So perhaps you'll be noted Sir Carl on the podium.
Yeah, I can't see that ever happening.
Anyway, thank you. By the way, Dan, any questions, obviously, for Carl before we let him go?
Yeah, well, of course, a great evening on the whole. Apart from race 2 and 3 were not that great. But, I think you can look back on an evening that is just as well as all the others.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed that last race has made up for the other 2 races. The battle with Pete was brilliant. He was saying he thought I had a body kit on the car. I was making it so wide. It was great.
Well,
Really enjoyed it.
did you change your driving styles when you knew that Pete was behind you, or did you
Oh
treat him
yes.
like everyone else?
Oh yes. Yeah. You can rely on Pete. He's a very steady driver, very safe. You can trust him.
Huh.
Couple of little sneaky bits on the apex of the.
Trusting a Dutch driver. Talk to Max Verstappen about that. Anyway.
Oh.
Anyway. Shots fired. No. We'll get
Ooh.
Pete in here. He'll be able to defend himself in a second on that one. No.
Yeah,
He's got
Pete's good.
Dutch courage. Anyway,
Yeah, he's good. I like Pete.
we'll
He's
let
a
you
nice
go.
guy.
You can obviously hang around the interview if you want and just, mute up and stuff if you want to hear, because we're going to bring in Pete
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now
bring
for
him in.
sure. Yeah, let's bring him in. So we'll bring in, obviously, Pete. Pete's been active in the chat. If somebody could do that, Dan, if you can always. Here we go, Pete. Welcome along. We keep speaking to you all the time on the podium celebrations and all that sort of jazz. You're back. I know you're in the chat there. It looks like a lot of thumbs up, a lot of happiness, a lot of Dutch courage from you this evening. How was your race weekend?
Oh, it was hard work. That was. I just talked to Carl earlier before you got into the interview box about how good that racing was, and must have looked really good on the replay.
There was a lot of stuff that looked good in the replay, my friend.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Because I think the fact that you can think about that it looked good in the replay tells you how easy it just comes for him.
Yeah, and Pete, yeah, you were everywhere at every point. And most positions gained over and over again. In this race, of course, you finished in the P2, but got it jumped. That battle between you and Daniel at the end was awesome. Like, we were kind of like debating whether or not do you really risk it for the biscuit, knowing that the championship is so much closer to yours, if not may even be yours now if we crunch all those numbers. Or, do you want to go for another one of those race wins to add another race win to your collection?
It's always good to collect race wins, if you ask me. And in the end of the day, I'd rather race really hard for position 10 than just drive off into the distance. The racing I had with Ralph tonight and with Carl this last race, it was just this is why I do this, man. The car's not real, but the racing is.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know about race wins. I've never had one in this league.
Oh, not yet, Carl, but you're getting there.
It'll come.
Just tell Peter to lift off, and might give you an opportunity on that one. But
Yeah,
no.
that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
open for bribes.
How about you just take give Pete a little bit of don't tell anybody out there, or stewards of course. Give him a little bit of police maneuver into a corner, send him into a spin, make him visit the barriers upside down, and then take the race win. That's how we do it in Australia when we drive. But no, of course, never do that. You always want to be as honest and fair as possible, which is exactly what you guys are here at UK SimRacers. Good, fair, honest, wheel-to-wheel drivers. Much better than the real drivers ever really perform themselves. So, yeah, Pete, okay. We were saying before, weren't we, Dan? You're already measuring the shelf to put the trophy up.
Yeah.
Have you got the shelf up ready for it?
I've got a spot reserved for a next
Right.
trophy.
Okay, because it's almost yours, I'd have to say.
Oh, yeah. I got
We
a
have
good
to-
haul of points.
we have to
and I
make
think
sure we
Pete had
spelled-
two-
Yep, go ahead.
Newman had 2 races where he did not finish this evening, I think.
No.
So that's gonna.
Did you
work in
see
my
his
advantage as well.
car went up in smoke on one of those races?
Yeah, he was in the chat box with us, and I think he just did 1 gear too many. It blew his engine.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
He went
Dan,
down
yep.
to first in the chicane that ruined the engine.
Oh,
It's
really?
easy to do.
Yeah.
Easy to do when the adrenaline's going and you just get that little twitch in the finger and do a double shift.
Yep.
And he was gutted, obviously, and that's so surprising because he's in not the same team as you. He's in the Pure Sims Esports, but I know that you obviously in the Momo team as well as Jamie. He didn't finish a very good race on this one. Even Jamie was right up there and all around the place for the Momo team. But you guys somehow are like in opposite teams, but in the same chat, having fun. Was Pete really gutted? Because I mean, he was the one that's going to probably bring it to the championship with you, and this might have been his last shot at beating you.
Well, I think it all depends on the next race weekend. If
Yeah.
I get a bad weekend, if you get like 2 DNFs or get crashed out or just run out of talent, then it's going to be really head-to-head.
I'm not quite sure with your spirit that's going to happen, but anyway, anything's possible in motor racing. But I think the other Pete Newman, is probably going to be thinking more about securing that P2, if anything. If you have a good couple of results in Silverstone, he's going to be thinking about securing the P2 rather than worrying about what's behind him. And I'm going to pull up those overall results, the championship results, even though this is just before this round, just for everybody to get an idea of how it's going to pan out.
I have another question for Pete.
Let's go ahead.
Yes.
First questions.
Well, I don't know, but where I live in the Netherlands, it was very hot again today. Did that play any part in how you raced? Of course, we know that 4 races is quite a lot.
It is. I've got like a really big fan pointing right at me, and because I race in VR, it's like you just sweat dripping into your eyes. And in between races, I just get out of the seat and just stand in front of the fan trying to cool down a bit. But yeah, it's pretty humid at the moment.
Yeah.
I have the luxury of aircon.
Oh,
I'm all right.
Oh,
I'm cool.
one of the limited people in the United Kingdom that have aircon. Wow, okay.
Oh yeah, I have aircon.
Yeah. Yeah, if you live in humid areas like I do in Panama, stuff like that, and the city is like, obviously if you can afford aircon, everybody has aircon. Die without it, and the humidity here. So you guys are just feeling what it feels like in this country 90% of the year. So
yeah.
now you know how we feel. That's why you don't have any like super fantastic fast
You're made for it.
Panamanian races, or you have Colombian races that are good and stuff like that. But the humidity just murders everybody in this country, so they can't race. They're like, I'm
But
dead.
you're made for it. We're not.
Sorry?
You're made for it.
Yeah, well, I'm Australian, mate. It's dry heat in Australia. It's opposite. It's not humid. It's just stinking dry. But that's something else. So anyway, congratulations, Pete. Once again, we're just looking at the championship standings before this race here, 2,535, and Steve. Unfortunately, we had to talk about Steve because Steve was in and out of this as your main competitor. He finished in 10th in that last race. I'm not sure overall what Steve did during the whole championship. And Charles Kellyman, up and down as well. That's going to be interesting because that's going to be coming in. We're not even going to mention Elise Main, unfortunately, for Elise out there. She could have easily probably been up in a P3, let's say, with those results. And we don't know how they're still standing. Do we, Dan? But yeah, it's still very tight. And
It is.
for the championship.
I think after this round, the drop weeks come to account because we're going to do next. It's going to be the final race, and then the drop weeks are going to be calculated for. So I don't know how they're going to mess up the points a bit.
And on
That
top
can
of
throw
it,
the spanner in the works.
yeah. And on top of it, we had. Well, I wanted to ask you about that, Dan. Remember who was it that got that penalty for I think it was the first race that got dropped back?
Dan
Dan
Hunt. Yeah,
Dan Hunt. Yeah.
he had the slowdown penalty, and he didn't serve it, so he got it after the
Ah.
Look
race.
at that.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. So you guys can hang around.
Well-
Thank you very much, Pete. We'll bring in some more of the drivers really quickly in the interview. In fact, we can bring them all in, and we'll just go one by one so they can listen. We're going to have Craig Jones, I think, waiting. We have Mick, Barry, and Ralph. So bring them all. Hey, guys, we're going to go one by one. You can all hang in there and have a bit of a chat, but we'll go by the interviews we haven't had yet. So, Dan, who would you like to speak to? Because we've got 3 extra people in the interview room now.
Well, I would like to go with Craig.
Craig? All right.
Yes.
So,
You wouldn't if you saw his face.
Craig Jones. That's Craig Jones at the moment. Who
Knew
finished...
it was a bad idea
yeah.
getting us all in.
Craig Jones, now you're in the AM Championship at the moment. So how's that all panning out for you in your race weekend so far?
It's panned out really well, to be honest with you. So tonight was just about keeping it on track and trying to just finish every race and just score some points. So I'm quite comfortable. So very different race to what some of the other guys were doing tonight. Just trying to stay out of trouble. Didn't quite work out to plan. There was a couple of incidents I got caught up in tonight, but yeah, overall pretty good. Quite happy with tonight.
And the key was your advantage over Craig Crawford, which is your main competitor in the AM series, I believe. And if that's correct, I'm looking at championship standings from the previous round.
Yeah, you are correct. It seems to be Craig Power at the moment.
So that's an advantage for you. So you pretty much, are you going to be doing the same thing that Pete's doing building a shelf on your wall there to collect that the AM's championship driver?
Extension.
Oh, I think I'm up to my 4th shelf actually.
Oh, wow,
I think I'm
okay.
on my 4th shelf now.
He's finally got a shelf, I think.
For
He
Lego.
bought it
maybe.
20 years ago, but it's been waiting to go up.
Yeah, finally, I've
Is it-
managed to complete
yeah, if you
my
if you got a missus or a girlfriend or whatever, she's like, "When are you gonna put that shelf up?" You're like, "Well, I'm you know, it's just like I've been waiting 10 years for you to put that up, and eventually this could be the time." That's
Got to get a trophy
that's
first. to
Mick
put on
Berry
it.
at the moment too. Anybody listening as well too that's joined the interview room. And Mick, by the way, how was your whole race weekend? You were there. You were all over the place. We got the cameras on you a few times, mate. But how was your
Definitely all over
result
the place.
clothing
Yeah, definitely.
tonight?
Sounds like Mick.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a good laugh. I've been the last 3 weeks. I've had nightmares with the Rift. It's been jumping all over the place. Finally got it sorted tonight. So yeah, a couple of 6th place and I think a 10th or 11th and an 18th. So I'm really happy with it. It was a good fun. Peter Van Gool. I noticed him coming around me a few times, but yeah, it was good fun. Really enjoyed it.
It is. It's good to have overall results, and that's the thing. It's also the key word. FUN is the key word for anything. Not everybody can win everything, and we have our bad days. Talk to Pete about that tonight. You know,
Yeah, Mick.
but you have good days and bad days. Pete might have a very good day in Silverstone, and the other Pete Van Gool might have a horrible day in Silverstone. We never know, do we? But yeah, and so but over to you guys. Obviously, I'm going to give the passing on course to Mr. Dan, the man, to talk to some of the drivers that we have in the casting box here, because we have obviously at the moment, just so everybody know, we have Pete Van Gool in the casting box. We have Ralph. I think we've spoken to you, Ralph. My apologies, Ralphie.
No,
Yeah, of
no
course,
one talks.
because Ralphie's been doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you very
The
much.
Irishman,
Yeah.
you were right up there, my friend. You had a good weekend last race, and today you were right up in the top there, battling it out with everybody. How was
Yeah, Ralph
yours?
has been flying. He
Oh,
really has.
Yeah,
Cheers, boys.
Ralph?
Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, Pete keeps getting the best of me, which I
Seems
don't
to have
mind.
found
I don't
another
mind
half
at all.
second.
Yeah, I don't mind. You know, but yeah, look, it's going really well. I got to say, except for a couple of silly mistakes tonight, but didn't finish all the races, which is what it's all about. And a great team with teammates who are willing to help me. You know, I don't ask for
Yeah,
it, but they
yeah.
do
And
it.
your teammate's
Yeah,
the
that
Result
bet,
Clothing iRacing team, of course. Craig Jones is your teammate, and as right, you guys.
Oh, and Safeguard and Work Guard, all those
Oh,
guys. Yeah,
yeah.
all the same team. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same.
We'll work together.
Same stable. There you go.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Sorry. Excuse my French.
I do have to say though, I am ahead of Ralph in the championship.
all right.
I feel that it's important that I say that.
So that's Craig
Would.
Jones talking the talk
Yeah.
about Ralphie, just to let you guys know out in the
Bigging
chat.
himself up as usual. Yeah, he's always at it. Jesus.
But Ralph's got more hair than Craig.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot more.
you
That's
probably you
true,
guys
I
have
bet.
more hair than me. I'm bald as a badger, so yeah, that's fine.
So is
I think
Craig.
I
Big
save
wavy
shampoo.
hair. I've got hair like a 10-year-old. It's amazing.
What's going on about 10-year-olds again?
All right.
Can't help myself, Nick. Yeah, on that note, yeah. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. No.
No,
you-
no,
yeah.
I've got choir practice.
Yeah. You guys can hang around for a second. Dan, you want to just say any final words out there to ask questions to any drivers, and anybody in the chat, please ask a question right now before we're going to end it and let everybody continue on these conversations that we'll have that are behind the scenes that we can't stream on the air.
Well, I just have a general question for all the drivers, apart from Pete, because we already knew. Race 4 always seems to bring the most chaos. Is that just fatigue creeping in, or?
Could be, actually.
Oh, someone's
me,
done
yeah.
their homework.
Overconfident.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think it's overconfidence. You've run 3 races. You know your breaking points. You know where you can, you can't. And then you always extend it that little bit more on race 4. You think, you're confident after race 3. That's your breaking point. Give it that extra split second. I think a lot of people do that.
And then it's colder as well.
Yeah, it's
Who was
really
the-
slippery.
Who
in
was the
race
question
4.
to? Sorry,
Oh,
can you repeat
is
that?
it?
Who was it to?
Just
Whoever
all
can
of them, apart
answer.
from Pete?
Everyone.
It was from Pete, I think it was, right? Or not Pete. No,
Everyone
okay,
apart
you
from
said
me.
that. So Mick, you said, what did you say? Can you repeat that again, Mick? So we have to, I have to relay who's
Yeah, I
talking
think
who.
because it's race 4,
Yep.
you've got yourself comfortable, you've got your breaking points, and then race 4, let's extend it a little bit of a trial, and you
Right.
sort of break a little bit later, and just come into the apex is a little bit harder. You've got the confidence after 3 races. you're at your most comfortable, I think, in race 4 because they're only 15 minutes races. You can't be absolutely knackered. Do you know what I mean? So I think come race 4, you're at the point of getting your best times. Personally,
I say you're definitely not comfortable with the heat though. It's very, very hot in these things.
That's
You know,
right.
on your
that's
head.
the only thing.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. But you are comfortable. I get you, Mick. Yeah.
Before we end, I'm going to go real quick for some questions there, some random questions for some of the drivers. So I'll do one each for a second for everybody to kind of figure it out. So, okay, we'll go one by one. Ralph, you have a question. Would you like to be an astronaut or a rock star? Ralph, just say it's one or the
I am
other.
one of those already. So
Which one? Which one?
It's not a rock star. It's not rock star.
You're an astronaut.
So
Okay, fine.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Space cadet. Absolutely.
I'll go through the list there. Carl, at the moment, oversteer or understeer? Choose one.
Oversteer.
All right, thank you very much. Over to the next person. Let's go Craig Jones at the moment. What do you reckon at the moment? A marathon or a sprint?
Definitely a sprint.
A
I don't like
sprint.
doing manual labour, so
All right, fair enough.
a marathon's out the question.
Okay, real quick, and the next one over, Mick. Wet tires or dry tires?
Dry.
All right, and finally to end it up there, Pete. A peak Ayrton Senna or a peak Michael Schumacher you'd like to drive against?
Ooh.
I don't know who they are.
Both,
Yeah,
both of
right.
them.
No, you have to choose one or the other. Peak Ayrton Senna or peak Michael Schumacher? You had to race against him.
Shimmy.
Schumacher. Okay, that's it. That's the questions I wanted to ask everybody. So thank you very much.
Die
Dan, do you want to wrap it up?
Senna.
Yeah, Ayrton Senna versus Michael Schumacher. Anyway, that's it. And actually, over to you, Dan. Would you like to be a scientist or an artist before you wrap it up?
I would like to be a scientist.
All right, there you go. That's it. It's a 50-50. There's no right or wrong answers. So that's it, guys. Dan, where are we going to next? Let's show the schedule.
We're going to Silverstone next.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus, Holy Mary.
All right, real
Mother
quick,
Teresa.
everybody. What do you feel about Silverstone?
Awesome.
Sorry.
Craig will get lost.
Yeah, definitely.
Love it.
It's
Love it. Love it. Love
probably-
it.
I will get lost.
Brilliant undulating track.
Well, don't go to Paul Ricard then if he gets lost in Silverstone.
Yeah.
And the Queen will be there, so make sure we're bringing the corgi food and all that sort of stuff for a corgi. So, yeah, trust me, you guys did not hear the beautiful accents that we were doing for the Queen's interpretation. But, Dan, wrap it up. We got to go. Everybody's got to have a lay down and get ready to fly from Germany over to Silverstone for the final race, which is next week, I believe, guys, or it's the 30th of August, yes.
Yeah.
Wrap it
I
up,
will
Dan.
definitely be having the beef on the flight to Silverstone. You, Biggles?
Yeah, I had it, but I'm going to change it up for the next one. But,
Chicken or beef? Chicken or beef? Come on.
Hey, I got to get on a flight right now. I have to go to Long Beach, California for an Indy race, okay? So we have to wrap this up.
Oh, you're the lucky one.
Well,
Yep.
well, everyone, once again, thanks for watching. It's been a good race once again. All the drivers, thank you for the interviews. It's been amazing to see you all in here. You had a good crack at it all tonight. You presented us with some amazing racing. So, like I always say, thank you to everyone, from the community, from everyone here from the UK SimRacers. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there next week for the last round at Silverstone. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Lower.
All right, I got to wait a few